sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
Happy Wednesday. Folks, it's past the middle of June, which means we're almost halfway done with this year. 2026 is almost halfway done. Brian, you look so defeated.
No, I don't care about the year. I care about the summer. And I feel like we're already halfway through the summer. Like when we get to July, summer's behind you, at least for school kids.
Don't you love June? June might be my favorite month.
It might be me too.
It's my favorite month, not because of all the things. It's actually the absence of all the things.
Me too.
So you're officially in summer time and school's out and the weather's great and you're just kind of living it. Life's not living.
I don't want to
you.
say you're lounging, but there's a feel to it.
Yeah, I completely agree. But yes, we are at June 17th, so it'll keep trucking along. It'll be Christmas before you know it. I say this every year in June, and then it's Christmas, and you guys are like, you just said that this was going to happen. So just hold on tight and enjoy every minute of it. We've got the president overseas right now, and he is talking about the deal, which, again, I will remind you, folks, it's a memorandum of understanding here, and I want to go straight into listening. This is live from the White House. Can we turn on the sound for can we get this on?
Mr. President,
yes.
Yesterday, the Pakistan thanks for the Chinese government to help make a peace talk between Iran and the United States. So what do you think about China's work to get the United States and Iran sitting down to talk and make the deal? And the second question is...
Okay, let me answer the question.
Okay.
So I think China's been terrific. I told you that before. They could have been bad. They could have sent in to try and block or break the blockade. They could have sent in an oil ship with 6 destroyers alongside of it on each side. They didn't do that. President Xi helped me. He tried to help, and I think he probably helped get it solved. You know, they get 50% of their oil from that location. So that wasn't that easy. President Xi was fantastic. He tried to help me solve it. And he didn't give any big weaponry. I guess we'll find something somewhere along the line. But he didn't give any big weaponry, I can tell you that. No, I think China I couldn't ask for much more. Again, they were impacted because they get more than 50% of their oil from the Hormuz Strait. And no, I thought they were fantastic. Okay, how about one more question right here? Go ahead, please.
The latest YouGov Economist poll shows that Democrats have lost a 5-point edge on the generic congressional ballot. They just have now just a 2-point lead since February. Do you think that they're losing momentum?
Well, I see the Republicans in generics. You know, generics are very important. I don't know how accurate, because I see a lot of bad polls. The polls are very dishonest, just like a lot of reporters, like these people over here, are very dishonest. CNN, ABC, it's a whole group of them over there. They're really dishonest people. But, you know, and really networks are very dishonest. And they have to straighten themselves out or they're not going to be very successful because people don't believe them anymore. But no, the generics are very interesting because the Republicans are coming up strong even before this. You know why? They're seeing all these lunatics, like the guy in Maine with the swastika. You know, for 10 years they've been calling me a Nazi. And now they have a Nazi running. He's got a tattoo on him. I've been denying it for 10 years. They know it's not so, but they've been calling. I don't think they can call it to me anymore, you know. One more? One more? Go ahead, Peter. Let me finish with Peter, because he's been better to me than he's been to Biden.
Thank you, President Trump. I have a question about this weekend. Why not stick around for the signing ceremony with this Iran peace deal?
I might.
You might?
Yeah, I might, but I'd rather, this is a memorandum of understanding. It's very important, but it might not be the kind of a document that I should be signing.
Is there some element to this where you send the vice president, if it works out, great, you look like a genius for sending him. And if it doesn't work out, it's the vice president.
I like that idea, sure. What? This way, if it works out, I'm going to take the credit. If it doesn't work out, I'm blaming JD. You better be careful, JD. He's going to turn his plane around and get the hell out of here. Yeah, I like that idea. I think it's a good idea. Thank you very much, everybody.
Oh, my
Thank
gosh.
you.
Only this president. They're speaking in France as the G7 summit continues on a little bit. I think it was tonight, the president of France, Emmanuel Macron, invited him to dinner in Versailles. And President Trump responded, he's like, I mean, this is Versailles. Yeah, I want to go. That was kind of his reaction to it. So he keeps inching out his stay over in Europe, at least at this point in time. And that press conference that we just dipped into, that was live from France, Evian, France, has been going on since 11 o'clock today.
The press conference?
Yes.
That was the end of it?
We dipped into the end of it. It's been going on since 11 a.m. today. They started almost on the dot, which is unusual for really any presidential administration. And he did his opening monologue during this press conference, and it was exactly what you expect it to be. He told the whole story. And he weaved in and out every single other topic that he wanted to discuss. And then he started to take questions. The YouTube poll for today: do you trust President Trump to get a good deal with Iran? Yes, trust but verify, or no. And I'm so glad. I didn't know this was going to happen, but I'm so glad that Peter Doocy there, who got the opportunity to ask one last question to wrap it up, because I don't think that the president wanted to end the press conference on the Democrat poll numbers are down. Are they losing momentum? I mean, like by virtue of their poll numbers being down, the answer to your question is yes.
It would have to be.
Although I think if President Trump is signing some declaration at the Resolute desk in the Oval Office surrounded by a bunch of people, including oftentimes there's some kids in the room that are like rolling around on the Oval Office carpet. When a reporter asks that question, he's like, thank you for that. Then he just gets a free pass to go in on Dems, or the Democrats, as he now calls them. I'm not up for that, but who's going to contain this guy? I'm so glad that Peter Doocy asked the question. This is a memorandum of understanding. And if you understand that it's not the deal, this is the starting point. And I don't know I don't know the text, and I don't think you do either, and I don't think the people reacting to it know it either. But in the Memorandum of Understanding, abbreviated MOU, pronounced
Emir.
It changes every time. That sounded like you cleared your throat.
I was trying to get it out.
Yeah.
I was in the middle.
Just one more time. MOU, Memorandum of Understanding, pronounced
Emir.
Okay. This isn't the deal. And it sounds like the MOU this is the criticism that is coming definitely from the left and the right alike, that there are a lot of concessions, a lot of potential investments in Iran that has people going, we're doing what? J.D. Vance said yesterday on his world media tour, because he was on every show but ours and Jesse Waters. Jesse Waters was so butthurt about the fact that he was going to be on Fox and Friends, and he was going to be on The View, and then he was going to be on The Five, and then he was going to be on Gutfeld, and Jesse was like, hey. I'm like, yeah, me too. Maybe he will. He's got a book out, and that's the best way to get guests. J.D. Vance said yesterday, there are no red cents from the United States of America going to Iran. And he reiterates that the money that would be put back into Iran is money that the United States has taken. And President Trump said that today in the press conference. He goes, we have taken a lot of money from Iran. There's a lot of money that we've taken in and held from them. And essentially what they're saying is they'd allow that to go back into Iran. A lot of people are concerned that Iran is getting off scot-free. All I hear the president saying in this Memorandum of Understanding, abbreviated MOU and pronounced
Emir.
All I'm getting from this is that President Trump has essentially put them on a performance improvement plan that says if you sneeze wrong, we're bombing the crap out of you again. So he doesn't feel burdened by the details of the MOU because this isn't the deal. He's just saying, you act foolish one time, and he was kind of mocking it there. He just previously here in the press conference, he goes, what am I going to do? Go sue him? Am I going to take Iran to court? No, I'm going to bomb the crap out of him again. So it seems to me that in this agreement to discuss an agreement, that the president is of the mind that they will obey and behave in every way articulated by the United States, and should they not, we'll bomb the crap out of them. That doesn't sound like a peace deal to me. That sounds like a weighted threat that the United States is in a position to make, which is probably a really good position to actually make a peace deal in. But this is not the deal. This is a memorandum of understanding or a...
No.
I could do this all day. I hope you can.
Oh, yeah, this is the easiest thing I ever do.
Oh, man. So let's take a break here. And when we return, is he going to be with us, do we think?
I think so.
No reason not to?
No reason not to.
Jared Halpern, who's a White House correspondent, political anchor for Fox News Radio, is going to join us to talk about this event. He covers the president, and we are going to connect with him. The only possibility is that since they just wrapped up this press conference, that he might be wrapped up in things that unfortunately outrank us. So hopefully Jared Halpern will be with us right here next, White House correspondent for Fox News Radio. On the Annie Frey Show, go vote in the YouTube live chat poll. Do you trust President Trump to get a good deal with Iran? Yes, trust but verify, or no. You can text us your thoughts on the Annie Frey Show text line, 314-241-9797. Jared Halpern next. The Retirement Advisory Group had a great seminar last night with Bob and Tammy Kershaw and several of you who showed up. We were excited to be able to meet you, and you took our advice and you decided to learn about for free what the Retirement Advisory Group can do for you. Now, if you missed last night's event at the Doubletree Hotel in Chesterfield, we'll have more. So next time, please show up and come say hi. You, too, can set up a no-cost, no-obligation review of your retirement. All you got to do is call 314-993-9494. 314-993-9494. You can go to retirementkey.com as well and learn about how to get a free personalized retirement income plan. This is information, folks, and if it's free, how can you pass it up? When you're in that window of time where you're looking to hang it up and get into retirement and travel and play with the grandkids and just have your time to yourself, you need to put yourself in the hands of the Retirement Advisor Group to make sure you check all the boxes to do that in that worry-free way. 314-993-9494, retirementkey.com. So part of what we heard there at the end of that press conference was Peter Doocy getting the final question in. Again, that press conference lasted about 75 minutes total. The president handled, from what I understand, the entire thing. At one point, President Trump asked Scott Besson a question. I think Scott Besson answered it wrong because Trump's response was, well, that's a terrible answer, or something like that. He asked if the stock market was smarter than Scott Besson, and Besson was like, no. And then Trump's like, oh, no. It's such a weird.
That's a weird question.
I know, especially to Scott Besson, who's, I don't think, going to say anybody is smarter than he is.
Yeah, right.
I think Scott Besson, even in the same room with Donald Trump, would still say, and Trump would probably expect him to say that he thinks he's the smartest person in the room, or at least tied for first.
Mr. Besson, did you invent the internet?
I sure did.
Yep.
And then I told Al Gore what to do.
Yep.
But one of the things that Peter Doocy said to President Trump was saying, you know, if you're here and this deal is going to get signed, why not just stay here and be a part of signing it yourself? And the president goes, well, I kind of like that idea. I might consider that. And then Peter Doocy follows up with, or is it because it's a memorandum of understanding that maybe this is something to have J.D. Vance sign, and then if it works, great. If it doesn't work, it was the vice president. And then Trump basically dropped the mic and walked off the stage with like, that's a great idea. It's all on J.D. Vance if you screw it up. So
yeah, it was great. It was a great ending.
Like live conversation right there, going back and forth with the president and Peter Doocy. We don't have the text of the deal yet. It is a memorandum of understanding. It's not the same thing as the actual deal. The YouTube poll for today, do you trust President Trump to get a good deal with Iran? Yes, no, or you can vote, of course, trust but verify, to quote a former Republican president. How different is it that this moment in time is a memorandum of understanding and not the actual deal? You did hear Peter Doocy's exchange there with President Trump, and they did note that this is not the same thing as the ultimate peace deal that would hopefully be negotiated within 60 days of the signing of the memorandum of understanding. Let's get to our guest, Jared Halpern, the White House correspondent and political anchor for Fox News Radio. Jared, thank you for the time today. It's good to have you back here on the show.
Good afternoon.
So can you talk to us a little bit about President Trump's G7 trip? Of course, the main topic du jour is that Iran deal or memorandum of understanding to lead to a deal. What can you let us know?
I think that's an important distinction, and one that President Trump made very clear in the news conference he just had, is that he kind of downplayed it a little bit, right? He said it is important that we got to this point, but it is a memorandum of understanding, and if it doesn't work out in 60 days, we can just resume the bombing. And every time he was kind of asked about, well, how do you ensure or how do you enforce that Iran will do what they say they will do, that was kind of the answer, is that I let them know that we can just bomb the hell out of them whenever we want to, and I don't think they want that to happen, and so we think that they'll abide by the rules. But the details here and the timing of how everything works is going to be really important, because the U.S. draft of this memorandum of understanding does open up the Strait of Hormuz, right? And it makes it toll-free. But that only applies for these 60 days. So much of this only applies for these 60 days. And so there are going to be questions about letting Iran sell oil, that potential billions of dollars that they bring in, and then this falling apart or not being agreed to the way that, you know, one side or the other agrees to. How does Lebanon play into this? How does Israel respond to being told that they have to include Lebanon in a ceasefire? So there are still a lot of question marks heading into this 60-day period that is supposed to get underway when this is officially signed, we believe, on Friday, by Vice President J.D. Vance, although the president also just said, hey, maybe I'll stick around here in France for a couple of days and do it myself, but also said maybe I don't want my name on it.
Yeah.
So I do think that today was maybe the first time I heard not hesitancy on the part of the president, but maybe some level setting on the part of the president, that this is not a final nuclear agreement with Iran.
Yeah, a bit of managing of those expectations and I don't know if admitting is the correct way to refer to President Trump talking about that. But I do think that maybe the discussion in the media with a lot of punditry, criticism certainly from the left and the right on what is in the memorandum of understanding, that the media has jumped quite a bit really hot on this topic, very upset that they don't have the wording in their hands to react to. But it is important to potentially reset expectations here that this is just the agreement to discuss an agreement, it seems as though.
Yeah, I mean, I think that this extends the ceasefire, and what is different about this ceasefire than the ceasefire that has been in place since April is that it does deal with the Strait of Hormuz, and it does deal with the U.S. naval blockade, and it would appear, at least on its face, to maybe not lift sanctions on Iran, but afford some limited oil sales and the suspension of sanctions as it relates to Iran being able to ship out that oil. And so that is going to be, again, I think questions that lawmakers are going to have on Capitol Hill. The president talked about this $300 billion rebuilding fund. He said it's not going to be a U.S. Money. This is going to be investments, Gulf countries and others, but also said, listen, if Iran does everything we ask them to, maybe we do invest in Iran and in sort of that partnership. So that seems to be a discussion for post 60 days MOU. But it is why not just the media wanted to read this, but you talk to senators on Capitol Hill, even Republican senators that are very supportive of President Trump. They're very eager to get their hands on this document as well.
Yeah. Okay, we're speaking with Jared Halpern, White House correspondent, political anchor for Fox News. Did this G7 summit, is this the time of year where this always happens and it just happened to occur the week of the week preceding the signing of a memorandum of understanding? All of this coming together as coincidence? Were there other things that were intended to be discussed?
No, the G7's always early June. In fact, my Facebook memory last year was me in Calgary at the G7. So I definitely remember watching the end of the U.S. Open at a hotel lobby bar last year. So this is the timing of the G7. And in fact, it was delayed a day or two to allow the UFC fight and all of those events at the White House. I don't think the initial agenda was so heavily focused on Iran, although a lot of Middle Eastern leaders were invited. So was President Zelensky. There was a lot of conversation, obviously, about trying to get to a place where they can end the war in Ukraine. President Trump says that he has spoken a couple of times during this summit with Vladimir Putin, who was not invited to the summit. The other big thing that is not going to get a lot of attention, just with everything else going on that was talked about at this G7, AI and some sort of international understanding to set up guardrails for artificial intelligence. There is obviously a big AI race happening. There's a lot of concern about how AI can be used. There is a lot of opportunity with AI. What there is not is a lot of sort of standards internationally or even in this country, frankly, on kind of what is and isn't allowed as you develop this new kind of technology.
Well, we appreciate your time to break down some of this very, very, very busy news cycle and this memorandum of understanding. Is there a set time when this is going to be signed for sure, or is it still speculation?
I think it's still speculation. The understanding is it will be signed at this pretty nice resort on the lake in Geneva, Switzerland, Lucerne, in that area. The vice president officially is supposed to represent the United States, but there is now some reporting out there that perhaps it gets elevated to the presidential level. Perhaps it gets signed more quickly because, again, the reopening of the strait, the end of the blockade, the oil sales, all of those kind of frontline concessions that both countries are providing do not happen until it is officially signed. So there does seem to be some urgency to get that done. And again, that would also start the clock on the 60 days of technical nuclear negotiations.
And then one quick follow-up. Jared Halpern speaking with us right now. This deal, I'm going to go back to that, calling it the Memorandum of Understanding and not so much
MOU,
a deal.
yeah.
Yes, the MOU. My co-host pronounces it. How do you pronounce it?
Meow.
This is what we're going with right now.
There you go.
Jared, how much, realistically, how much do the words in that document come from the President of the United States, and how much of it is coming from, military, Rubio, those types of players? How much of Donald Trump's heart and soul is in this? From what I understand, it's quite a short document.
Yeah, I mean, listen, I think the big picture is President Trump. Here's what the president was going to demand big picture. So that's included. The wording and sort of how you get there, that's always done. I don't want to say like mid-management level, but it is kind of the career, technical, diplomatic folks, that deal with that, because they are talking about in this memorandum of understanding kind of nuclear enrichment levels and the technicalities of that and the process by which you test what this downgrade is and all of that. So there is definitely a level of technicality there that I don't think any president, frankly, would write. But the big picture, and President Trump has talked about this, the big picture of what he wanted Iran to kind of lay out and agree to and say is in there. They won't obtain or acquire or develop a nuclear weapon. They will reopen the Strait of Hormuz toll-free, as the president puts it. So that stuff is in there. I don't know how much of it he sat down and wrote, but we do know that the president has sort of been provided with previous offers and has rejected them.
Yeah.
And so it is clear that he has had a big role in kind of getting to the point where he would sign a document, let alone the Iranians.
All right. Well, thank you so much for the insight today, Jared Halpern. It's good to have you on the show, and we'll stay in touch because we know the news cycle moves pretty fast, and glad to see how on top of it you are to share with us.
Sure thing. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye. White House correspondent and political anchor for Fox News Radio, Jared Halpern. All I can think about now is every time he hears MOU, he hears Ryan.
Meow. Actually, it was more of a meow with Gerald.
I just want to see him doing a report one time, and he gets to MOU, and he just kind of like pauses and chuckles a little bit and soldiers on.
As long as national news coverage is affected by that, I'll be happy.
We got to plant that out there. And then before you know it, see it on Jesse Waters' show or something like that.
Yeah, if he takes my joke and doesn't cite me,
then what?
Then I'll write him a letter.
Text him. He takes text on his show. Hey, that was my joke. All right, let's take a quick break here. The YouTube poll, we're asking you, do you trust President Trump to get a good deal with Iran? Yes, you trust but verify, or no? Vote on the Annie Frey YouTube live chat poll. You go to youtube.com/@AnnieFrey. You'll see we're broadcasting live right there. Hello to the people who are watching online. And we have a live chat in that live broadcast every day. The best way to get this served up to you on the daily so you can vote in that poll right away is go to the Annie Frey YouTube channel, subscribe to the channel, and then you just be able to turn on notifications. Then when we go live, you'll get a notification and you can vote in the live chat. You can also text us on the Annie Frey Show text line, 314-241-9797, 314-241-9797. We'll be right back.
Men, if you're suffering from erectile dysfunction or PE, you're not alone. Most importantly, you don't have to live with it. Paramount Men's Medical Center restores men's sex lives in just one visit. Their painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, even when Viagra and Cialis don't work. Here's Dr. Simovitz, specialist in men's health.
Paramount Men's Medical Center's painless breakthrough treatments eliminate ED and PE, regardless of age or medical history. 98% of patients see instant results right in the office.
Men are now lasting longer than they ever imagined. And the best part, at Paramount Men's Medical Center, your consultation and first treatment are free. Qualified patients even get their testosterone checked free. Call 314-887-4333. 314-887-4333. Take control of your sex life. Call now. 314-887-4333.
If you're considering an annuity as part of your retirement plan, we need to talk. Hi, I'm Bob Stockdale, Senior Vice President Investments with the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel and host of On the Money Saturday mornings at 11 on 97.1 FM Talk. Annuities can be a useful tool for some retirement investors, but not all annuities are created equal. Every week, we meet clients who own complex annuities that don't suit their needs and, in some cases, actively undermine their retirement plan. Before you purchase an annuity, get a second opinion from the ClearPath Wealth Management Group at Stifel. Requesting a consultation is free of charge. To request a free consultation, contact us at clearpathinvesting.com. That's clearpathinvesting.com, or call us at 636-695-2650. That's clearpathinvesting.com or 636-695-2650. Stifel Nicholas & Company Incorporated, member NYSE and SIPC.
Hi, Sandy. What's that?
I'm reading up on this Amendment 4 on the August ballot.
What's 4?
Amendment 4 absurdly creates a new un-American minority veto power, but only for ballot issues that we citizens put on the ballot.
Don't they say it'll protect conservative ideas?
Truth gets in the way of their story. Amendment 4 would mean as few as 5% of the most liberal statewide voters in one congressional district could veto any good conservative idea or reform, even when a big majority supports it.
That does sound un-American. How did that get on the ballot?
The politicians put it there, and it would empower a small minority of liberals. They could stop funding for police, stop tax cuts, or any other common sense conservative policy we support.
Only 5%? One district? That would make it nearly impossible to pass needed reforms or rein in politicians.
Yep, Amendment 4 is a misguided power grab by politicians. I'm voting no on Amendment 4.
Right. I'm not giving up my constitutional rights. It's a hard no on 4.
Paid for by Missourians for Fair Governance.
So this YouTube live chat poll that we've got today is, do you trust President Trump to get a good deal with Iran? You go to the YouTube page to vote on this, and you'll find today's date. You'll see us streaming live. Hello. You'll see us today on the live stream, and you vote right there. That's how you do it if you've never done it. You can leave a comment as well, or you can text in 314-241-9797 if you have any thoughts about that question. Do you trust President Trump to get a good deal with Iran? It is 12:35. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
$8 AC tune-up.
Happy birthday, America, in 2026. Get used to hearing the word semi-quincentennial. America 250 on 97.1 FM Talk. Sponsored by Paramount Men's Medical Center.
I'm just going to take a wild guess here, and I don't know if this assumption is correct. You guys can redirect my intuition here, but if you were looking for reaction to what President Trump just did at the 75-minute press conference in France at the G7 summit, and you were listening to the it's a different kind of droning. Not like pew pew droning. Just Donald Trump talking as it's just when I watch him just go on and on, I'm like, you are the most powerful man in the world. It's like the confirmation that he's like, nobody on the face of the planet is going to tell me to wrap this up.
Yeah.
Watch. And then he just goes and goes and goes. I don't mind it. I'm amused by it. I don't have to stand behind him like the maid of honor. Is that what you're going to say?
No.
You got Rubio and who was the other one behind him?
Lutnick was back
there.
there.
Oh, Lutnick. That's who it was. I guess he's part of the deal making. But you've got these two guys standing back there. You know how at a wedding they're like, don't lock your knees. All I'm doing is, Rubio, bend those knees to a squat. It'll be fine. He got a little shifty back there before, and I thought, what if he's gonna pee his pants? What if nature calls and he's back there? And I actually had this thought. This is what I would do if I were Rubio. I would put my hand up to my ear and turn slightly away, nod an affirmation, and then head off the stage.
Yeah, lift your phone up.
No, not the phone.
Hello?
You don't even need to lift the phone because
earpiece.
you don't need to have a phone if you're Marco Rubio. You just need to put the hand up to the ear as if you're engaging some sort of technology that is so incredible we can't even see it. And you just put it up there and you furrow the brow and you look down and then you walk away with intent. You don't hurry because then people will be like, somebody's bombing something. You just move with purpose to the bathroom. You just can't go to the first bathroom so people see that you just faked something so that you could pee. What would you do?
Well, I would definitely do the one hand to the ear.
Or would you just kind of like put your hands over your mid-region and just kind of start bouncing up and down?
Bounce a little bit?
Yeah.
I don't know.
Shake it a little bit to make sure that everything doesn't come out inappropriately.
If you had to go to the bathroom.
You're standing behind the president, trying to negotiate peace in the Middle East. This is a huge moment. And you're like, I am going to pee in my pants. Because you can't pee in your pants.
So I like your method where you just do one hand to the ear, because if you put both hands to the ears, it would sound like you were saying, I don't want to listen to this.
Yeah.
And
I hate this deal.
Yeah, you don't want to do that. So I think what I would do anyway, the ear thing's fine. But I think what I'd do is I'd probably like point at somebody in the crowd and wave at them, and then I'd go, like point like, oh, you want to go?
You can't do that.
You
That
need to go
upstages the
talk?
president. I can't listen to this guy. I got to listen to a rando guy out there. Let's talk in the bathroom.
Then maybe just a quick point out at something, like you just discovered something, and then you walk off. Same kind of idea as the earpiece. Like, oh, yeah, and then you walk.
I would think, much like when Hannah was a producer on this show, she would sit in the front row at events that I was at, and she would mirror my body position because I'm a millennial, post-4 baby. I'm going to be mean to myself, but like Frumpy McFrumperson sitting up there because we didn't grow up in a period of time where you had to pose all the time. We don't do that. We're not programmed that way. But if you grew up in a time where cameras were literally everywhere all the time, do you see the kids' pictures that they take of themselves? Like, do you ever see, and you're like, that's a terrible angle. What are you doing? They just don't care because there's so many photos that the ones that are out there don't all have to be good. They like ones that are silly. Like these stupid forehead pictures the kids are taking these days. What's the matter with you people?
I don't know anything about this trend.
You'll get there.
They're just pictures of people's foreheads?
I mean, they just like hold the camera up and then they just forehead first. Looking up at it's just.
I guess if you have the
they're
waste
all
of
pictures you'd take of yourself, but you would be doing it, air quotes, ironically.
Oh. So they think it looks good, though.
No, I think they think it's funny and they don't care. They like silly pictures. If someone takes a bad picture of somebody, they probably posed bad for the picture. It doesn't make sense to me. I don't understand it.
That's the big difference is that when we were kids, you would get a disposable camera.
Yes.
And you had to think about those pictures.
It was the lottery.
You had to think, oh, I think I'm going to do this. Now I'm going to make sure it's either posed or wait for that perfect moment or whatever it is.
My parents, my dad.
Go forever with
My dad
these.
used to love to take pictures on film because, folks, that's what we had. There was no digital. And I remember my cousin's wedding. He took photos then. And he's really great at taking pictures. But then now that everybody can take pictures all the time, he hasn't done it as much. But he was really good at framing and candids and that type of stuff. And my sister and I were both bridesmaids in my cousin's wedding. And this is 1996, December 1996. And he took 2-3 rolls of film, goes to get them developed, gets them back, didn't realize he bought black and white film.
Oh, weird.
It turned out to be, lemonade out of lemons, really neat in that there were these kind of what looked like more artistic style photos with the black and white film. But once you develop, well, first of all, it's black and white film, but like you can't go back and recolorize it or just put a filter on it or re-enhance it or tell AI, like, imagine this photo in color. The bridesmaids' dresses are black and the wedding colors were red and green because it was December. That doesn't exist. You just got them back. You opened it up and you were like, where is the color? And then you realize on the little film strip that you got with your photos, you bought black and white film. They turned out to be, like, long term, you go back and look at those pictures, they're really neat photos. Completely non-intentional.
It's still cool, though.
And uncorrectable.
Yeah. Well, I guess you could go back now and scan them and tell them what to do, right?
It wasn't my wedding.
But
it was a beautiful wedding. It was. I actually had my daughter, when she was in 7th grade, I still have all my bridesmaids' dresses from the weddings I was in, and she put that dress on, and she looked so pretty in it. And it was like, these are the type of life moments where she's getting old enough to do these types of stuff. Charlie's driving and everything, so there are times where he's going out to do things that maybe Jared did, and it's just like, it couldn't be more bitter and sweet at the same time. It's very crazy. I gotta find on the break. I'll show you some dumb pictures kids are taking.
Here's an even worse one than accidentally black and white. I was working in TV at the time I got married, and so a TV friend of mine who I worked with, who was going to be at the wedding, said, "My wedding gift to you is that I'm going to film your wedding."
Oh yeah.
I'm like, "This is amazing.
That's incredible.
That's great." He did the whole thing, and then he got it back, and he goes, "The film was bad. Film was bad. It was bad. We have no record of it.
None.
We have pictures, but the filming, the recording of it, gone."
Do you know is there anybody you know that took any video of anything?
I don't know, because at the time, we said, "Look, he's in TV. We've got people here doing a TV production almost."
Was he devastated?
Yeah, he was. I mean, We kind of were at the time, but I look back now and I'm like, I would almost rather not. The pictures are fine. I don't want to watch it.
Mrs. Wiggins isn't listening right now, right? Not a chance.
There's a chance.
Hi.
But probably not.
You need to. You're coming up on your 20th anniversary.
Yeah.
Next year. Because you got married to your wife and I got married to my husband in the same year.
Yeah.
You need to make a wedding video for her. You need to assemble as much documentation as you can. Tell AI.
I was going to say it'll all be AI.
It doesn't matter.
And it'll look real shiny
That's
and
okay.
look a little strange.
Take
blue eyes.
It's not the wedding video, but you don't have that. But take if there's any video that anyone took anywhere, and then add in pictures and make the pictures move.
I think I want to make them where you have to watch them with 3D glasses.
I mean, fine.
Where
that's the most Ryan Wiggins touch on something that would be really awesome, and you're like, but let's make it weird too.
You're coming down the aisle, but you're also coming out at
your face down the aisle. Wait for the bouquet toss.
Wait for the janitor to turn, and then the mop comes out at you. We have a lot of pictures of the janitor, just saying.
Why is the janitor cleaning the aisle in the middle of the wedding? Oh, now I get it.
Wait, he's actually a weightlifter.
He's going to wash the aisle with a bucket of water. Here it comes.
Effects.
You should do that for her. You should do it. Start if you
What I'll do is I'll
Ryan,
stage a new wedding with all the same people.
But a separate bride so she doesn't know what happened. A stand-in.
AI her in.
Have it be Brad with a wig. Do that.
And why does all the family look so much older than they did?
If you have documentation of Ryan's wedding, start sending him things so he can get a good head start on this. Wiggins America next. Things women say and what they really mean when they say them. According to Ryan Wiggins. Next.
Never miss a beat. Take 97.1 FM Talk with you. The voices you trust, Mark Cox, Annie Frey, Mark Reardon, Scott Jennings, and more are just a tap away with the Odyssey app. Stream 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis conservative.
Man, I love this place. I've been surfing here since I was a kid. Now, seeing my grandson out on the water, it means everything to me. Watching him and taking in the blue waves, the sea breeze, the blurry horizon.
If you have geographic atrophy, or GA, subtle changes in vision could mean it's progressing toward irreversible vision loss. Izervay is proven to slow GA progression and could help preserve your vision for longer, so you may keep seeing the world around you. Izervay, or avacincaptad pegol, is an eye injection. Don't take it if you have an infection or active swelling in or around your eye. Izervay can cause eye infection, retinal detachment, or increased risk of wet AMD. Izervay may cause blood in the white of the eye, blurred vision, or a temporary increase in eye pressure. Do not drive or use machinery until vision has recovered after an eye injection or exam. Ask your retina specialist how you can slow your GA with Izervay. To learn more, call 1-855-IZERVAY or go to izervay.com. Paid for by Astellas Pharma.
License number GL2500615.
You're cooking dinner. The lights go out. You flip the breaker and forget about it.
But what if it keeps tripping?
Trips once, your breaker's doing its job. Keeps tripping? That's a warning. Bad wiring or something worse.
Do people just keep flipping it?
Most do, until they can't anymore.
Call Grasser. We'll stop the trip.
Green is always Grasser at GrasserHomeservices.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon. If you're nearing retirement or already retired, call my friends Thomas Helbig and Bob Kershaw with the Retirement Advisory Group. They'll show you how linking to the market is much safer than owning the market for your retirement savings. They're the official financial advisors of my show. Go to retirementkey.com.
Meet Linda. She's stuck in traffic with hundreds of thoughts racing through her mind, like what she needs to pack for her family's vacation and what they still need from the store. But you know what she's not thinking about? Her HVAC system. Linda is a preferred partner with Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Installation. Members of our preferred partner plan get 2 HVAC system checks per year. We clean and inspect your AC and furnace at each visit. Partners also get priority service and exclusive discounts starting at just $19 per month. Life is chaos, but with Air Comfort Service, you'll have peace of mind with your HVAC system. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
You're listening to The Annie Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis conservative.
Wiggins. Oh! things women say and what they really mean when they say them. I'm going to say the phrase, and Annie is going to tell us what it really means, and we'll see if it matches.
Really excited about this.
My page says. All right. The first one says, we should hang out sometime. Now, this is for a woman who is single. We should hang out sometime. What does that mean?
Does she bring it up?
It's just in a conversation with a guy.
If she's the first to say it, then I think she is expressing interest.
Indeed. Well, she's going further. She's actually saying, I'm attracted to you. Why haven't you asked me out yet?
Yeah, I was just going to say, it's the closest that a self-respecting woman would get to asking him out.
Right.
I say that as somebody who wouldn't, but I know that the days have changed.
Can a woman ask a man out?
Sure.
Is that embarrassing for her, though?
I could not know what would be embarrassing for her. I wouldn't do it.
Yeah, I would feel a little weird if a woman asked me out, but I also would be okay with it because then I'd know where everything stood. It'd be pretty clear.
Yeah, I don't know how I would feel about that either because I've never had a
never
woman
had
ask.
that happen.
Yeah, that's never happened to me. Let me think about that. Yeah, I don't know. I mean,
I think men would love it if a woman asked them out, but I think it's because it would be flattering to them, not because it would make the female more interesting to them.
That's correct.
You're either interested in them or you're not. If she asks you out, a man would think she's into me, which is essentially, in my opinion, what feral men are assessing always.
it's an excellent point because I was just sitting here thinking about that. As if I had identified a girl across the room or whatever, and I was going to go ask her out, and I was doing my best to work up the courage, and then she came over and she asked me out, that'd be like the greatest thing ever. Be like, all right.
Yeah, I'm just thinking most of the time, though, that's going to happen when you're talking to somebody, and you're already going to know whether the signs are there, whether she likes you or not. And so if they're not, and she asks you out, then it's awkward. That's probably what women feel all the time is when guys ask them out and you're not interested in them.
Well, and the other thing I think, too, is that if the reason you like it is because she's into you and that has nothing to do with your interest in her, I do think that on the whole, men are hunters by biology and they want the thrill of the chase, and that women... Ladies, I would teach my daughters to not be easy to get. I mean, that doesn't mean you turn into an impossible witch about things, but you're going to want to be with the man who's going to want to work for it a little bit, because if they're going to sit back and wait for everything to come to them, that's not marriage material.
Yeah, and also the guy will probably want that to happen too. I don't think that's just...
I think that, the chase?
Yeah.
Yeah, you like the chase.
Yeah, it's not just that
and
the woman should
be... And if a woman flips all of that, that doesn't mean that it can't happen, shouldn't happen, or whatever. It just changes the power structure in that. And for women, you give up a little bit of your power when you take that kind of upfront active role in it. It's a much more passive, but also very powerful role to be in control of how far this thing goes. And there I'm talking about everything. Because the man's always in hot pursuit.
Mm-hmm.
And the woman... Anyway. My kids are off.
That's right. All right, this one is not necessarily a dating one. It's probably primarily in marriage, but could also apply to dating. Do whatever you want. When a woman says, do whatever you want,
what
does that mean?
She's done arguing with you about it, and she doesn't like the decision that you want to make.
Yeah, I think you've got the same as what the page says.
She wants you to
here.
choose something that you are not leaning towards, but she's not going to tell you what decision to make. She wants you to make the right decision because you made the right decision, not because she told you what to do.
This says, actually, don't do whatever you want. I'm just testing you, and I am daring you, not permitting you. As in, if you go ahead and do it, you've been warned.
Well, I mean, okay, let's take for example, you've got a big party on Saturday afternoon for your kid's birthday, and your buddies are in town, and they asked you to go golfing Saturday morning. Honey, can I go? You care if I go golfing Saturday morning? But you've already been tasked with all the grilling of the food and all of the stuff. This sounds really personal. This has actually never happened in my household. But I might, as the wife, understand they're just in town for this weekend. So I know that if you do what I want you to do, which is to stay and help me put together this thing that we planned 4 weeks ago, do what you want.
Do what you want is a little different than do whatever you want.
If I say do whatever you want, what I'm hoping he does is gets a 6 a.m. tea time and doesn't complain about being tired at 11 when he comes back and it's crunch time to get stuff together, which is a good compromise.
Okay, this one's really good, and I would like to know what you say here. Who's that girl?
That means that I need to know how platonic this is now.
Yep. Translation on the page is, I am definitely feeling jealous and a bit insecure right now. Who is this chick? Do you like her? And then further it goes, do you like her in that way? And so on and so forth.
Yeah. And you better have a really good, honest answer quickly that doesn't make me think that you're searching.
Mm-hmm.
And also, never had that problem before.
But
I know that language.
Right. Who's that girl? It sounds so innocent, though. It's a good question because it works.
I think a man would say, "Who's that guy?" That's the same. It's the same thing.
Yeah,
back
that's
and
probably
forth.
true.
There's no.
Who's that dude?
Yeah. Only it wouldn't be casual either. It would be leaning into the convo.
Yeah.
And it may, rightfully so. If you're in a committed relationship, you have a right to know. And then if they give you an answer that explains the situation, then you can lighten up because you trust them. If you don't trust them, then maybe the inference there is a little heavier.
I guess this one could be in a marriage, but this is probably more of a dating situation or attempt at dating. Nice shirt.
Ooh, that's not a nice shirt. I don't like your shirt.
Oh, really? That's the meaning?
Well, are we married or are we dating? Sorry.
So it's sarcastic if you're married.
I don't know if no, I wouldn't say if I didn't like the shirt my husband was wearing somewhere. And I'll be honest, my husband usually overdresses for events, and I get home from work and I want to dress down, and I'm like, "Is that what you're gonna wear?" Which means please change.
What about if you're dating or trying to date somebody? What does nice shirt mean?
I don't know, but you say nice shirt to a man one time in a sincere way, he's gonna wear that shirt every day.
That's a fact.
He's gonna wear the shirt
That's
over and over and over again. So, ladies, if you're complimenting the shirts and you want him to wear clean shirts, you need to compliment a good 5 or 6 of them.
This says, translation is, nice chest. I like your strong, manly upper body. I like your physique.
I'm just going to be honest. That did not cross my mind. I've been married for 20 years, and I do like my husband's physique. And his shirts are great. Love them. Troy Murdoch and Senator Schmidt next.
Last year, I had back pain radiating down my right leg. The pain was so bad I was willing to cut my leg off to stop the pain. I could barely walk and had to stoop over when I did just to take pressure off the spine. I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. In my professional career, I've represented thousands of people who've had herniated discs and issues with their neck and back, but never fully appreciated what they were going through until it was my turn. It's like trying to describe colors to a blind person who's never had sight. All I can tell you is it hurt like hell, but worse. My daily walk was gone, and that bothered me a great deal. Then I thought of all of you and how much more devastating this type of injury could be for you. My life stopped. I now feel your pain. Just know at Morgan & Morgan, we got your back. I understand. Morgan means more.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
The Home Shield Foundation repair team's waiting for you to give them a call at 314-271-9900. 314-271-9900. Matt Hayes, the owner of this locally owned, family-owned business right here out of St. Louis, has the experience and the experienced team that you've been looking to hire for that basement water issue. I think there's supposed to be pretty nasty rain in the forecast. I don't know if that's for everybody. Don't know. Ryan's clueless. I think that there's rain coming in. I know that if you have a wet basement, you've already, quartered off that area of the basement that's affected by it, and you're losing square footage of your home to this issue, but you're probably losing more degradation of your foundation in a way that could be much more expensive down the line. Get ahead of the issue and choose the experts to give you the information you need to hire them. 314-271-9900. Matt Hayes is waiting for your phone call at Home Shield Foundation Repair at 314-271-9900. Look them up online at HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
When it comes to planning your retirement, there's a lot to think about. Portfolio management, tax planning, and retirement income just to get started. Steve All and his team at the All Financial Group focus on those things and more. Their goal is to help you achieve your goals. Call 636-230-8824 or online, yourmoneymattersstl.com.
Investment advisory products and services made available through Impact Partnership Wealth, LLC, IBW, a registered investment advisor. Insurance and annuities offered through Steve All, NPN number 153-07419.
It's time for you to get to know my friends at Lit Cigar Lounge in Chesterfield, where luxury meets comfort. Mark Cox here. They have a great selection of rare bourbons, whiskeys, craft cocktails, anything you like to drink, cold beer, premium hand-rolled cigars from the finest makers in the world, even private lockers that are available if you choose to. Perfect for date nights or business meetings, and live music every Friday night. Family owned and operated. Check them out in Chesterfield at the District. It's litstl.com.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777.
The Iran deal. I'm Carmen Roberts, Fox News. But the president says it's not final yet, as he tells reporters at the G7 summit in France.
They have to behave themselves. If they're not behaving, they get hit again. You know, they'll be hit again because we can do it very easily.
And senior U.S. officials tell the AP that the draft deal includes, among other things, protections for Lebanon's territorial integrity, along with new minimum standard for Iran's highly enriched uranium. In return, the U.S. will move to waive but not eliminate some wide-ranging sanctions against Iran once the deal is signed. Fox's Peter Ducey has more from the G7 summit.
I got the president to explain what the difference is between giving Iran money and unfreezing Iranian money.
We have taken a lot of their money, and we have their money. We have taken their money. It's not our money. It's their money, and we froze it. At a certain point in time, I guess we're going to have to give it back.
That's the first time that we've heard that. It obviously comes after a weeks-long embargo that was really, really straining the Iranian economy. And we are now within 48 hours or so of that changing and of billions of dollars starting to flow in possibly every day as the oil sales resume.
And that agreement is securing a toll-free passage of the Strait of Hormuz for only 60 days. It's set to be signed Friday in Switzerland. And this is a Fox News alert. The Federal Reserve has just issued a statement and says it is leaving the rates unchanged and that it will likely ease rates on the next meeting. America's listening to Fox News.
If you want unlimited talk, text, and data on a crazy fast network, Big Wireless will sell it to you right now for as little as $70 a month. Or you can buy it from Pure Talk for half of that. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. Stop paying the big guys twice what you need to. Dial pound 250, say my name. That's pound 250 micro to switch to Pure Talk, where the savings are truly unlimited.
You've got to try the new TikTok diet.
Just ask Chat.
I just take blue-green algae.
Or you could trust your gut. When it comes to your health, how do you know what's right for you? That's where Viome comes in. Viome is a simple, at-home gut health test that analyzes your real-time biology to give you personalized nutrition guidance and custom supplements. Not trends, your biology.
Learn more at Viome.com/know. V as in Victor, IOME.com/KNOW. And use coupon code VIOME50 to save $50 off your purchase.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation. Weather.
It's a warm and humid Wednesday afternoon across St. Louis, but the big deal, wind from the south-southwest, 40 to 50 miles per hour, 93 for the high. Tonight, here comes a cool front. Scattered showers and thunderstorms kicking up the atmosphere. Some of the storms could be strong, possibly severe. Our prime time is going to be 6 p.m. to midnight tonight, 70 for the low. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Frey Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. If your air conditioner needs service anytime, day or night, Air Comfort Service has almost 60 years of experience and is family-owned and operated right here in St. Louis. Visit aircomfortservice.com.
Annie Frey, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Ring.
That's us.
sake, kid. Keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I feel about him the way I feel about any candidate. I want to see what kind of candidate he actually turns out to be. The bumps on the road that he has experienced and some of the things he has said.
Bumps on the road?
Well, yeah, I mean, clearly bumps on the road in terms of some of his prior behavior, some of his prior statements. And I will tell you, I served with Susan Collins. She is going to be very hard to beat. And it's going to be a tough election. So I'm reserving.
But if you were a Mainer, where would you pull the lever?
But I'm not a Mainer. I'm a New Yorker. No, but seriously, I mean,
you're going to let that pitch go by?
Yeah, but David, look, I think we can get actually to what we need in the majority in the House, which will give us a check on him.
So that's not a pitch gone by. She determined very much so that question. She is not willing to say that she would support Graham Plattner. I wonder why that is. Oh, just a few bumps in the road. I wonder if that's what Bill Clinton told Hillary Clinton in the mid-'90s. It's just a few bumps in the road, honey. It'll be fine. Let's get to our friend, Doroy Murdoch, nationally syndicated columnist, Project 21 ambassador, and Fox News contributor. Doroy, just a few bumps in the road, if you ask Secretary Clinton.
Oh yeah, just a pothole or a couple little pebbles under the tire or something like that. And what a whitewash! Amazing. And you know very well that if this were a Republican with the kind of background even half as problematic as that Graham Plattner has, she'd be calling him a Nazi and a sexist and a misogynist and a racist and on and on and on and berating the guy right and left. But you're a Democrat and you have the same kinds of exactly the same background, and they're bumps in the road, really.
Yeah.
Just amazing.
It is amazing. Coming from Hillary Clinton, of all things. Let's talk a little bit about Graham Plattner. He's so repulsive to me that I actually don't talk a whole lot about him on the show. So I'm glad that we're discussing this today to kind of do a bit of a profile, because there's quite a lot of reference to his Nazi tattoo. But I don't think that people really understand the gravity of the kind of Nazi tattoo, as if there are layers to these different types of things. The specificity of what Graham Plattner had tattooed on his chest is so unbelievable. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yeah, it's really astonishing to say this, but if he had just a swastika tattoo on, it would be better. It would be an improvement. We could give him a little bit of a longer leash if he just had a swastika on his chest. Rather than that, he had on the Totenkopf, which is the T-O-T-T-E-N-K-O-P-F. That's German for death's head, and that is the death's head insignia worn by the SS. These are the people who met the Jews and Gypsies and gay people and Slavs and Poles and others as they got off the trains in Auschwitz, Treblinka, Sobibor, and the other concentration camps, and said, okay, step to the left for endless hard labor, and step to the right for the gas chambers, the crematoria, and your cadaver goes up the chimney in a big puff of smoke. These are the people who threw Anne Frank to her death. One of the last things Anne Frank probably saw was a Totenkopf as she succumbed to the white nationalism and hatred of Adolf Hitler. And that is the insignia that Graham Plattner had on his chest. If he had a swastika, he could say, well, look, I just put that on because I think Erwin Rommel is a really cool tank commander, or I really loved Triumph of the Will, admittedly very well-made movie by Leni Riefenstahl about the Nuremberg rallies. That would be bad enough, but to put on the Totenkopf is even worse than just a swastika. This was basically the emblem and the insignia of the Holocaust, and that's what Graham Plattner had on his chest for 18 years. He says, I didn't know what it was. I just thought it was kind of a cool logo. One of the women who he abused, a woman whose arm he twisted, and he then threw her into her bedroom and locked her there, or trapped her there. She says that he used to call it my Totenkopf and kind of used a foreign accent whenever he talked about it, and then he knew bloody well what it was. So basically what you've got here is a Nazi communist misogynist who engages in domestic abuse, and that's basically the modern face of the Democrat Party.
It's just shocking to me. It's just absolutely shocking to me. I don't know if you were able to watch J.D. Vance on The Five yesterday, but Greg Gutfeld was being challenged I think, by Jessica Tarloff about the UFC fight, the UFC 250, and then the one fighter who made a comment about Michelle Obama, and she was very worked up and bothered by that. And Greg Gutfeld's mind just exploded, saying that the left has completely ceded any sort of moral standing, moral high ground to force the people on the right to assess their own morality and their own moral high ground when they have Graham Plattner running in Maine, and just like the checklist of all of the things that they've accused some very high-profile people, including the President of the United States, of these really horrific things that they haven't been guilty of. They wrapped them all up and decided to run it together in Spain or in Maine for the Senate against Susan Collins, who's probably the most centered or potentially even dip her toe in the left side of the aisle from time to time, Republican, in the Senate. What do you think about that moral high ground argument when the left gets all verklempt and pearl clutching about how the right could possibly stand by, and then they just fill in the blank there with something? Do they get to judge us across the aisle?
No, not the way this thing's worked out. Look, it'd be one thing if we suddenly learned about the Nazi tattoo, the night before the election, and then Plattner just squeaked through with, 50.1%. This has been public, open, and widely discussed since about October. So this is about 9 months we've known about the Totenkopf tattoo. We learned recently about the abuse of women. He also said that rural people are stupid. I believe he complained that black people don't tend to tip very much. That's a cute little bit of racism right there. And so on and so forth. So this guy is engaged in the kind of behavior of which Republicans usually are blamed. Oh, they hate blacks, they hate Jews, they hate women, etc. Well, we have clear evidence that this is true of him, or at least he has problems with these people, number one. Number two, knowing all of that, the people of Maine went to the polls a week ago today, and they could have picked Janet Mills, their governor, who's a liberal Democrat. She was still on the ballot. And I thought, after all this controversy, maybe people would have voted for her. She would have gotten the nomination. No, not the case. 74% of Maine Democrats, after knowing all of what we've discussed and much more, because there's a whole lot about this guy, decided, this is our guy for the U.S. Senate, and they voted for him. And then you would think after all this that the people like Bernie Sanders and Congressman Ro Khanna, Senator Bernie Sanders, Congresswoman Ocasio-Cortez, and others would back away and say, well, look, we don't want this guy. This guy's a nightmare. And they're still sticking with him. He's their man. And so you have to conclude that the modern Democratic Party looks at a man who had a Nazi tattoo for 18 years, has a problem with domestic abuse of women, thinks that blacks don't tip very well, thinks that rural people are stupid. And at one point he called himself a communist, not just a Democrat socialist, but he said, I'm a communist years ago. And they look at that and go, great, that's our guy, that's our man, not even for a House seat from Maine, but for the U.S. Senate, and he's going to, if he gets in, he'll be one of the top 100 people running our country, at least in the U.S. Senate. And the Democrat Party is saying, yep, please, yes, please, and high-fiving each other. So I have to include the entire Democrat Party is okay with this guy, and the Democrat Party ought to be tarred with all of the tarred and feathered as much as he should be for all of his beliefs. The Democrat Party's embraced him, so I think I've referred to him as the fresh Aryan face of the modern Democrat Party.
We're speaking with Dory Murdoch, a nationally syndicated columnist. His latest piece on Graham Plattner that you can check out on the Daily Signal. What's the appropriate response from the right on Graham Plattner? I'm talking about prior to that question I just asked you, how the left is always wagging their finger at the right about their moral understanding. What should the right be doing right now while this is the person that the Democrats have chosen in Maine? A lot of people have suggested that the majority in the Senate for the Democrats goes through Maine, and Hillary Clinton won't even support him. What should Republicans be doing right now?
Well, look, anytime anybody says, hey, you guys are a bunch of Nazis, say, oh, you mean like Graham Plattner, the guy that you guys nominated to be your nominee for the U.S. Senate? Anytime Democrats say, oh, you people are a bunch of anti-black racists, say, oh, like Graham Plattner, the man in Maine you nominated for Senate who says that blacks are bad tippers. Anytime they say, oh, you're a bunch of misogynists, say, oh, you mean like Graham Plattner, the man you nominated to be U.S. Senator from Maine, the guy who twisted women's arms and locked one of his previous girlfriends up in a bedroom so she couldn't escape. That's technically kidnapping, I think, legally. And again, it's not like this all suddenly came out over the last few days. We've known all of this for weeks, if not months. And Democrat Party's response was, yeah, nominate the guy and let's all line up behind him. They're still this is their man. So they've got to take the blame for that. Donald J. Trump does not have a Nazi tattoo. He doesn't twist women's arms. He's never said anything about black people not tipping. He's got a black man in his cabinet. He's done great things for the historically black colleges and universities. He's launched in his first term the Opportunity Zone program to bring capital and economic development to minority areas, and many of them black areas. I don't think Graham Plattner's done anything good like that for black people. All I know about him and blacks is he thinks we don't tip very well, which I don't appreciate very much as a black man. So I think the best thing to do is just make Graham Plattner famous, talk about his record. And he mentioned Susan Collins. I mean, nobody can say, oh, Susan Collins is some kind of crazy far-right mega MAGA type. She's as centrist as you're going to find. I mean, if you look at her vote record from the perspective of the American Conservative Union and Club for Growth and these other groups, she's almost always about a 50, 55, 48, right in there. She's like really right down the middle. I tend to like my Republicans stronger than that, but given the circumstances, that's probably about as strong a Republican as you're going to get out of Maine. And nobody's ever said anything unusual about Susan Collins' her behavior. She seems like a very upstanding, well-behaved, decent lady. I'm sure she's never said or done anything like what Graham Plattner's admitted to, which was warm memories of masturbating inside of portable toilets. He says he finds the blue chemical smell of those places sexually arousing. And then he bragged about all this on Reddit, on social media. Wow, that's kind of crazy. I know if I ever use those portable bathrooms, I want to get out of there as rapidly as possible. I don't want to be there 2 seconds longer than I have to be. And if he's got thoughts like that, keep it to yourself. Don't share that on social media. We're talking about a very, very sick, twisted man. And again, the Democrats looked at this and say, yep, he's our guy.
Yeah, it's unbelievable. It's really unbelievable. It's like the only thing that makes sense to me about the Graham Plattner race and some of these other individuals that the Democrat Party has chosen is that they forgot that they don't control every ounce of the media any longer. Mm-hmm. And they think that they can cover up a host of sins and, polish on the front a very shallowly informed electorate because blue no matter who. And I just don't think that that's the case any longer. I looked it up here because I heard this recently. Senator Susan Collins has cast 10,000 consecutive roll call votes in the United States Senate without a single absence, which is incredible. So committed, of all things, Susan Collins in Maine. I think she's probably going to do just fine there. But Graham Plattner, what are these Democrats thinking?
Well, that's the thing is, look, whether you agree or disagree with Susan Collins, you got to admire her work ethic. I mean, to have 10,000 votes and not miss one. I mean, she's the Cal Ripken of the U.S. Senate, or maybe the entire Congress. Almost always somebody gets sick or their plane's late or something happens, but she's never missed a vote since she was elected U.S. Senator. I mean, that's quite a level of diligence and focus and public service, whether you agree or disagree with her votes. I mean, the fact she cast 10,000, didn't miss one in that entire period is really quite astonishing. And, she deserves a lot of credit from that. I hope even her critics would give her some credit for that, too.
Yeah, 100%. Well, I encourage people to read your profile there that you've created. For they don't know enough about Graham Plattner. The more I know, the less I wish I knew of this man in Maine. But you've done a great job on the Daily Signal, so we encourage people to check it out. Joy, thank you for being with us today. It's always good to speak with you.
Annie, great to talk to you. Be well. Thank you.
Take care. Bye-bye. You can check out his articles in the Daily Signal, dailysignal.com, as well as other places. He writes for a lot of different entities. You can also, of course, see him on Fox News as a Fox News contributor, and check out Project 21 as he is an ambassador there as well. We'll break right now. The YouTube poll: do you trust President Trump to get a good deal with Iran? Yes, no, or trust but verify. And at the bottom of the hour here, in less than 15 minutes or so, we'll have Senator Eric Schmitt joining us. I'm going to ask him about his thoughts on the deal. I maybe just will ask him the same poll question I'm asking you. We'll ask the senator from Missouri, do you trust President Trump to get a good deal with Iran? And see what he has to say. Plus, I'm going to ask him about yet another attack against people who are perceived to be on the right from people who have identified themselves on the left in that UFC 250 plot that was foiled. What does the senator have to say about the presence of left-wing violence continuing to show its ugly face? Do we have that kind of problem in our country? Senator Eric Schmitt, about 10 minutes. Don't go away. Point Pest Control, Point with an E. PestControl.com. If you have a pest problem in your home, I want you to consider solving it once and for all, to the point where you don't even have to think about it any longer. Ants make their way into the kitchen, maybe the bathroom. If you have evidence of mice in your home and you're not really sure where they're coming from, and the thought that always haunts me, like, how many are there? Because if you see evidence of one, there's usually not just one. Spiders? I don't even want to talk about it. Crickets, man. If you ever like a basement cricket problem, you're sitting down there, you're trying to enjoy the entertainment space in your basement, and that cricket is just entertaining himself right there with you. So frustrating. Get rid of these pests by becoming a Premier Service Plan subscriber. I'm a subscriber at my home, and I encourage you to do the same. 636-798-0023. Ask them about their Premier Service Plan and mention my name, Annie Frey, and receive a 10% discount on the top of any special that they have going on right now. So drop that Annie name out there when you call 636-798-0023. Point with an E. PestControl.com.
Hey, it's Mark Reardon with Stewie from Stewart's American Mortgage. We are in the 6th hottest real estate market in the country, Stewie. What can buyers in St. Louis do to gain that advantage with you?
You know what, Mark? It's real simple. Number one, the bagel loan. Bagel looks like a zero, easy to remember. No closing costs, no title fees, no lender fees, no appraisal fees. The big bagel looks like a zero, easy to remember. Take that money you're saving, add it to the bid, beat all the other offers out. Number two, we give you the power of the pre-approval letter. What does that mean? We pre-approve you for the maximum amount that you qualify for. You can then go into our portal and edit the letter and raise it or lower it to any amount you want up to the amount you pre-approved. No waiting for the loan officer, no waiting for anybody else. It's all in your hands. And the third thing, we can close in 10 days. That's a big deal. If you go to the seller and say, hey, here's my offer. It may not be the best, but we can close quick. Everybody else is 30 days out. You know it's going to happen quickly with our reputation. Big bam, boom, you got the house of your dreams.
Call or text Stewie at 314-324-4440 or Google the bagel loan. NMLS number 226715.
Don't let tax refund worries hold you back. File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve or your money back. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
The Annie Frey Show is St. Louis conservative.
Is the text of the agreement now final, or are you still...
No, it's not final. It's a memorandum of understanding, and if I don't like it, we'll go back to shooting at them, dropping bombs on their head.
When do you expect the wording?
If I don't like it, if they don't behave, we'll go right back to dropping bombs right smack in the middle of their head, okay? Because they've misbehaved for 47 years. All right?
Does it include...
But nobody could have made this deal. I mean, the JCPOA done by Obama, he handed him $1.7 billion in cash, gave him hundreds of millions of dollars, gave him billions and billions of dollars, but he gave him $1.7 billion in cash, green cash from banks, into a Boeing 757 and flew it into Iran. And they stood at the plane. I have pictures of it, like, oh my God, look at this money he's giving us. He tried to bribe his way out. I didn't do that. Nobody mentions that. $1.7 billion and hundreds of millions of dollars. They tried to bribe their way out of it. And you know what the Iranians did? They laughed at Obama and they said he's a stupid son of a bitch.
Okay.
Oh.
President Trump. The poll for today is, do you trust President Trump to get a good deal with Iran? Yes, no, or trust but verify. What do you think, Ryan?
Comparatively to every other president who has ever tried to do this, yes. I'm not saying it's going to be easy, and I'm not saying we're going to walk away with a deal that's perfect, but I do trust Trump to do this. He has a fantastic record on foreign policy, and I'll criticize him on a lot of areas. Foreign policy, he is really good at. So yes.
Isn't it because he has resolve? Like, he knows the goal, and it seems as though foreign policy tends to be the place where our leaders get super panicky about politics. And President Trump has been explicitly clear about his goal in a non-nuclear Iran from the very beginning. And then when you see those clips of him decades ago on talk shows and saying, if Iran gets a nuclear bomb, if they get to that, they're going to want to use it. That would be devastating. Very consistent.
Very consistent.
Very consistent.
Well, he's consistent for years on everything.
Yeah.
I mean, economics and anything.
he said it in the campaign. This is what he said he was going to do. And
Yeah.
America said, "We pick you."
Yeah.
Kamala Harris was asked here recently. I don't know if we've ever pulled this clip. And if you never pull another Kamala Harris clip again, Brad, that will be too soon because I cannot stand her. I was going to say her voice, but I'm just going to stop at her.
Okay.
She was asked, like, would you have started this war? Would you be in this war? And she was like, she laughed at the. She's like, no. And I'm like, obviously.
Yeah.
And she would never have had the guts to do it.
Right.
Even if it would have gotten even more egregious and more aggressive with the nuclear strength of Iran, she wouldn't have been like, oh, I think we're going to have. No. She'd have licked her finger, stuck it up in the wind, and seen what the politics of that very moment were, and then she would do that. And then she'd have to do it again in an hour, and if the winds changed, she would move in that direction. But no principles, no morals. Like, what did Kamala stand for? What would Kamala Harris's big initiative been should she have won the presidency?
I don't really know.
Do you have any goal?
I think she would have spent a lot more money.
But that's spending money for the sake of money. What would her big accomplishment? What was her commitment to the American people? Her commitment was to not be Donald Trump, which would have been satisfactory for your 30% of people who are content with that no matter what.
Yeah.
Text line 314-241-9797 if you want to text us your thoughts on, do you trust President Trump to get a good deal with Iran?
Listen to these two that came in back to back. First one says, no, don't trust Trump to get a good deal. For whatever reason, he stopped on the 10-yard line. That is from Dan.
Hi, Dan.
So that doesn't sound like he's a Trump hater. He just doesn't like what...
He wants him to go more.
Yeah, he wants more out of this. Then right afterwards, next text says, Eric. That's his name.
Hi, Eric.
Hi, Eric. Hi, Dan. I would trust President Trump to give me a vasectomy.
Oh!
So those are two.
Can you imagine
sides
Donald
of the
Trump
spectrum.
narrating through your vasectomy?
Oh yeah, he'd be talking about how the media is dishonest and.
It's the best it's ever been. It's huge.
They always say we want more babies. We love babies, don't we?
Yeah, but
we
not
have
anymore.
more babies, but not you.
Not
you,
anymore.
Eric.
Just get Sean Farish back on to do a little narration for us on. Let's just imagine you're in a scenario. We're just going to throw something out there. You walk in the room, and you're there to get your vasectomy, but Donald Trump is the doctor.
Go. Yeah.
And I think he would be like, he would know what to do. He would know exactly what to do.
Eric loves children, but he doesn't want any more Trump accounts. He doesn't want $1,000 from Dell. But we'll take care of him. It'll be a great vasectomy. It'll be great.
It'll be great. It'll be great. That's what she said.
There is one more here. It says, you can't make a deal with Iran because they're terrorists. P.S. You guys do a great job in listening to you guys since you began. Oh, I didn't read the rest of that until just now. Thank you.
Thanks. Who is that from?
I didn't say.
Give us the the digits.
And also tell us what you mean by since you began. Since Annie began, since I joined the show. That's important.
If you were the texter there, Ryan would like to know his part in that.
Yeah.
He would like to know if it specifically was, what year did you come here? 19?
19. Yeah.
Fall?
September/October of 19.
Yeah. Tell me when the show was really great and then when it kind of hit a rough patch.
Yeah. And be specific.
Be specific. Yeah. If you want your text message to get on the air, just text 314-241-9797 and flatter Ryan. He will sneak them all in there.
Yes, I will.
Senator Eric Schmidt on the show next. Of course, Missouri's senator is going to talk to us about his reaction to what he knows, what he's heard, what he hasn't heard. We'll find out from the senator his answer to this YouTube live chat poll. Does he trust President Trump to get a good deal with Iran? I'm also going to ask him about his thoughts on the foiled plot to attack that UFC fight at the White House and the knowledge we have that it was from some people who wanted to target folks who have donated to, or taken donations or participated with AIPAC. Essentially, kind of an anti-Jew thing, an anti-Republican thing yet again. And the plot's pretty nasty. So Senator Eric Schmidt will join us here on the Annie Frey Show when we return. Don't go away. Have you visited my friend Todd Sivia yet? Todd Sivia put together the trust for my husband and for me, and he's somebody you can turn over your estate plan to and really have confidence that it is going to be thorough, and I mean thorough. He has so many different areas of expertise and certifications that make him such a multifaceted asset when it comes to establishing a trust. Yes, you need to establish powers of attorney. You need to know who's going to be handling your financial affairs when you're not in a position to do so, or to handle your health decisions if you're not in a position to do so. These are really big things, but a true estate plan that's really well thought out is much bigger than that, and you need an expert like Todd Sivia to help walk you through it so you don't miss anything along the way. That's why we worked with Sivia Law, and I encourage you to do that as well. If you mention Annie, when you call 833-995-WILL, that's 833-995-WILL, your strategy session initially, that $300 initial strategy session, free. But you got to mention my name and be one of the first 10 callers right now. 833-995-WILL, online at civialaw.com.
Is it time to upgrade that backyard so you can enjoy it for the rest of this summer? Call Chesterfield Fence and Deck. Mark Cox here. I'm telling you, they have a mission to be the very best when it comes to customer service and quality craftsmanship. They've been around since 1968. That tells you something. The same families owned this business all those years. Of course, they offer fences and decks, but they also do much more. Sunrooms, screen rooms, patios. They can do retaining walls. You mention it, and they can take care of what's going on in your backyard. Their project consultants will come out. They'll do free in-home estimates, no obligation at all, free project design. They've also got a great digital photo gallery of completed projects so you can look at what other people are doing and maybe get some inspiration. How about that? Reach out to them today. Mention my name. They're going to give you 20% off your next outdoor project. Check them out at chesterfieldfence.com.
Do you owe $10,000 or more to the IRS like Mark?
I've been doing home remodeling for 30 plus years, but the economy crashed. I wound up losing my home, losing my job, and on top of that, owing the IRS a ton of money. I owed the IRS $114,000. It really, truly was the worst part of my life.
Then Mark found tax relief advocates.
On news radio, I heard about TRA, and I thought, what's the worst that could happen? So I picked up the phone and I called them. When it was all said and done, TRA settled my $114,000 debt for $100, and I'm telling you, I was ecstatic. Could not believe it. Would recommend TRA to anyone.
If you owe 10 or even hundreds of thousands of dollars to the IRS, don't lose hope. Do what Mark did and call TRA for a consultation.
But TRA did. They gave me a second chance, and I'm forever grateful.
Visit TRA.com or call 800-491-9914. 800-491-9914. That's 800-491-9914.
Senator Eric Schmidt coming up next on the Annie Frey Show. It is 1:32. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
Built on backbone, not buzzwords. 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
The Orion deal, the text is still being finalized. How confident are you that this Friday signing will happen?
You're talking about this one on the deal? Deals are amazing. I've done them all my life. I've gone into deals that were 100% and they don't happen. I've gone into deals that there was no chance of getting them done, and it happens, and they happen easily. So you never know with deals, do you? But you're going to find out pretty soon. I think it'll be done. They want to sign. They want to get back to a normal life. We hit them very hard.
President Trump speaking today in France at the G7 summit and taking questions, of course, as he is apt to do, about the Memorandum of Understanding. It's not the actual deal, folks. So if you read, the text is now out, the Memorandum of Understanding, I think my understanding is that it's the agreement to sit down and have a comfortable set context in order to get to an actual deal. So that Memorandum of Understanding to be signed soon. And we are here with Senator Eric Schmidt representing Missouri, of course, in the United States Senate. And grateful to have you back with us, Senator. I'm curious if you've had the opportunity to read through the Memorandum of Understanding and if you have a reaction to it.
Well, I've had conversations with senior White House officials earlier this week, and we're tracking the language right now. But I mean, I'm hopeful, right? This is an opportunity to get papered up what President Trump has talked about from the beginning, which his goals were to make sure Iran doesn't have a nuclear weapon, and the Strait of Hormuz is opened up. And I think that'd be a positive development. And anything that beyond that is all sort of incentive based on Iran's performance and complying with the terms of the agreement when it's signed. And so, I think he knocked back their military, knocked back their nuclear program, their navy's in the bottom of the ocean. All that kind of created this room for the diplomacy that we're seeing play out now.
I think President Trump's decision to go forward with, we've talked about clips that you can see from decades ago when he wasn't anywhere near the presidency, where he was talking about keeping Iran from becoming nuclear. You look at what he's been able to accomplish. He's been very goal-oriented and very consistent on his message. Is it your assessment, Senator, that America is now safer because of the actions that have already taken place in Iran based on President Trump's direction?
Yeah, America has no interest or should never want Iran to have a nuclear weapon. It would be incredibly destabilizing, not just for that region, but you'd also see a kind of a cascading effect in that you would really see a proliferation then of other countries around there wanting their own nuclear weapon to sort of check Iran. So there's all kinds of implications that go beyond just the borders of Iran. But I think this is a president that takes on issues related to American interests, and it's not in our interest for them to have a nuke. And with the furtherance of this memorandum of understanding and an agreement, that becomes, sort of, what he was set out to do, and it looks like that's going to play out.
I want to ask you the question that we're asking our audience today, which is a pretty big question, very interpretive based on the person who's receiving the question. But do you trust President Trump to get a good deal with Iran? And how much of a difference is there between this memorandum of understanding and the actual deal that the administration would be pursuing here? Do you trust President Trump to get a good deal with Iran?
I do. I can't think of a president, certainly in my lifetime, that's better suited for getting to a deal, right? I mean, this is essentially who he is. I mean, the art of the deal. I mean, this is how he became known in many ways in the late 1980s and into the 90s and then had a show and talked about how you build a team to get these deals done. So I do. And I think that the issues that still need to play out are what are those benchmarks or what are those kind of checkpoints where we're ensuring that they aren't moving forward with a nuclear weapon. The truth of the matter is whatever material, the dust as it's been referred to, is buried under a mountain right now, effectively. And so we've got pretty good eyes on that, and we want to make sure that happens. And if that happens, by the way, what the president, what the vice president talked about, if all of those things happen, that does create conditions, and we should just verify all this. I don't even know if we need to trust. We just need to verify. If that happens, that's when you see potential Gulf states investing in Iran and having more normalized relations in that region, and you see the Abraham Accords expanded. That would all be great. That'd be great for the region, be great for the United States. We'll see how that all plays out. But this kind of sets the framework for that to potentially happen down the road.
We're speaking with Senator Eric Schmitt, United States Senator representing Missouri. I want to shift gears on topic right now and talk about the UFC fight plot that was foiled. Were you at the fight? Were you there at the White House?
No, I was going to go, and my youngest daughter wanted to play golf with her dad. And you know what? So that's what I did.
Good choice. How'd you golf?
Yeah, so... well, we just went and hit golf balls. We just went to the driving range and hung out for a little bit, which was awesome. But no, it looked incredible. The images are just remarkable. Yeah. I mean, it's looked like AI, honestly, but this is, I think, a great celebration. That was the IndyCar race, the rodeo, the state fair, all these things are going to be happening. There's going to be a great celebration in St. Louis by the Arch on the 3rd and the 4th. These are all like reminders of what a great country we are. We should celebrate it.
Yeah, and I think that the the conversations that I saw from a lot of pundits, even on CNN that were covering it, were saying this isn't a political event. I know that a lot of people who are sitting in studios might be able to politicize the event from afar, but on the ground, it turns out Americans love fights. And the UFC, that's not by any means a partisan entity, and bringing it to the White House, there have been many entertainment types of I've heard of opera and plays and concerts and all of that stuff.
Yeah, Teddy Roosevelt was sparring with people in the White House. I mean,
President.
I mean, these are just things that, if we just take ourselves like a little less seriously, so people just like enjoy these things, right? I think the people that were all pearl clutching about this are hoping for lightning and bad weather. I mean, good Lord.
Yeah.
Get a life. So,
yeah. And while you're working on getting that life, we're going to sit here and enjoy a good fight or a good concert or whatever it might be. What's your reaction, Senator Schmidt, to seeing the World Cup, our visitors ascending on the United States? And this is a question that I want to ask specifically you, because we here are in the heart of the Midwest. And the one thing I keep hearing people talk about is how they're not going and looking at the Statue of Liberty and being like, oh my gosh, there it is, or going to the coastline in California and being like, oh my gosh, the ocean's beautiful. They have oceans, they have beaches. They're coming to the Midwest and they're meeting folks that are like us, and they're enamored about it. What's your reaction to all these videos that are out?
I think it's really cool, and it's very organic, and I think that's a bit of a tell too, right? This isn't staged. These are people who are coming and they can't believe how clean a Buc-ee's is. I think they love the barbecue in Kansas City. I think that's really cool, and I think it's a check. I mean, there's so much. I mean, you've been here. I walk through the halls every day going from my office to the Capitol to vote and hearings and all this, and the press around here, they're just so negative. They're just whatever news of the day to try to drive a wedge or whatever. And the truth of the matter is, in like real America, like normal people are living their lives. They're taking their kids to practice. They're going to a game like this. They're watching the UFC thing. That's what they're talking about, right? They're watching college football on Saturday. They're not showing up to some, a no Kings rally after no Kings rally after no Kings rally. And, like real America, people live their lives and they love this country. And it's cool to see people from other places kind of experience that in those sort of interactions that are genuine and authentic. I think it's really cool.
And Senator Schmidt, too, it's interesting to see these Europeans or folks from, these other countries, they might not just be from Europe, appreciating what America has to offer. And that's usually partnered with shock. I don't know what the impression that they had about the United States, but they clearly thought it would be something very different. But the consequence of that, a positive consequence of that, is, and I'm one of them, is I'm seeing these people be impressed with our country, and I'm realizing I've maybe kind of bought into the negativity about America that has been sold somewhere with some consistency enough for us to just kind of be ho-hum about it. Where does that negativity come from?
Well, it's sort of like, I think it was a New York Times article, but it was some sort of publication like that was like, wrote an article about genuinely surprised that people in the South were welcoming to the Germans visiting America. You're like, what world do you live in?
Yeah.
Like, come to Missouri. People are like happy to see you. They're friendly. They'll talk about the Cardinals. They'll tell you about the float trips. They'll, give you a Busch Light, barbecue pork steak. I mean, like that's what real people do. And so I think it is cool that narrative is kind of being disrupted. I will say though that at the same time that's happening, you see polling that even CNN is sort of shocked by, that if you ask Republicans and Democrats, are you proud or very proud to be an American? 90% of Republicans say that. And by the way, that number is consistent whether there's a Republican or Democrat president, okay?
Yeah.
And you look at now, Democrats, it's under 30%. It's 29%, less than a third. Think about that. Less than a third of Democrats right now are proud to be an American. Like, I could take a partisan, whack at this, but I'm just saying as an American, I think that's sad. Like, I don't think that's a good development. And as a country, as somebody that wants to see my kids and eventually grandkids and great grandkids to enjoy all the things that we get to enjoy and the culture and everything, like it's not passed on through the bloodstream. Like people have to appreciate it and protect it. And if you don't really feel good about it, I don't know what that foretells for the future, right? So not a good development.
Yeah, Senator Eric Schmidt speaking with us. It's very sad because I think that if you're not feeling that like swell of American pride right now because of the World Cup or because of America 250, it's one thing to not be like, okay, this isn't my favorite moment in America's history because maybe you don't like the president, you don't like his policies, whatever. But there are people who are very hostily angry about it. And the UFC fight, the FBI did it again. They were able to foil this plot that was so deep and demonic in the way that they approached this. I'm just reading from a Fox News article here right now. Investigators noted this journal contained a target list of 46 individuals, including politicians and celebrities. Court records allege Proper and Eskridge actively researched targets using the website trackapac.com, specifically focusing on lawmakers they believe accepted campaign funds from pro-Israel lobbies. Senator, we've heard a lot about right-wing extremists, MAGA extremists, right-wing violence. Is there a left-wing violence problem in our country right now?
Oh yeah. I mean, you've had, I've talked about this, and the media doesn't want to hear it because they want to make it a both sides thing. But if you look at the evidence of, just look at a poll, 25% of those who describe themselves as very liberal believe that political violence is justified. That's compared to 3% of very conservatives. 3% too many, but it's not the same. The president has had 3 attempts on his life, at least 3 attempts on his life, right? The Charlie Kirk situation, you see this Antifa, which is very mobilized, and some of the stuff that's in here in what they discovered is really disturbing. I mean, what they were trying to do was have these attack drones come in to create chaos, and they had sniper teams that were going to shoot people as they were fleeing the chaos. Like, that is demonic. That is evil. There's something, in some ways, look, we've always lived with this to some degree, but I think that the left's inability to call out this rising tide of political violence is very dangerous, and it should not be enabled in any way, shape, or form. And I just don't hear that stuff on the left. I just don't. And so anyway, it's kind of scary. It is, I guess, where we're at. But I would hope that we could kind of pump the brakes and say, look, we can have disagreements. We can battle it out in court. We can battle it out on the town square. We can battle it out on the Senate floor. We can battle it out on elections. But at the end of the day, I don't want any political opponent of mine to be harmed. I just don't. I want to win fair and square. And that's with ideas, right? And that's with elections.
Yeah, well said. Senator Eric Schmidt with us. Before we let you go, you are a baseball hero, nationally recognized at this point. Your nose looks good from here. I can see your nose is recovered just nicely. Yeah. You made an incredible play out in left field. I believe you were wearing the Cardinals hat as well. Is that right? Yeah. We appreciate that. Right. What's the coolest thing that's happened since you made that catch in the Congressional baseball game last week?
I mean, Macon Sports Center. That was pretty cool. I've had interviews about my glove that I got when I was in high school and used in college and then got restrung. A constituent emailed in just today a poem about me making the catch. So it's the first time, I've had things that I say go, be heard and go far and wide in certain instances, the kind of a viral moment. But this wasn't a political thing, right? It was, who is this dude that's out in left field, getting to a ball and, laying out and bloodying up his nose and, saying, just rubbing some dirt on it and say, let's keep playing. That was pretty cool. And I had a cop say, "Man, you're all right. If you're willing to do that, bust up your nose to make that play, we appreciate that." Yeah. So, but anybody that's known me for any length of time knows that there was no way I was going to let that ball drop if I could get to it. I wasn't sure I was going to get to it, but I'm glad that I did. It was a cool moment. It was a very cool moment, and it was fun. I mean, 35,000 people there, Annie. Like, it's on TV.
Yes.
It was a cool thing.
It's kind of what you dream about going into there. And those opportunities really don't come about very often in games like that. And you made the play. And well, it's funny, Annie. Yeah, and I'm not sure I've told this story. I've told it to my team, but like the next inning,
there was like a major league pop-up out there. Like, and we don't judge, I don't judge fly balls for a living. I've not done it that consistently, and certainly not in a major league stadium where there's lights and different levels and shirt colors and everything. And it was a sky-high pop fly. And I remember I was thinking, like, you cannot screw this up after that play last inning. So thankfully I made the catch and avoided the embarrassment. So.
Yeah, you did that thing in politics you're not supposed to do, which is really elevate the expectations. You always want to manage them. I was reading comments. I when I'm bored, like to go into the comment section. Super bad advice for people who are new to comment sections. But I was watching the sports accounts that I follow on X that were sharing your content, and I loved all the comments who are like, I hate Republicans, but man, that was a good catch. It's just, I mean, you were getting the love and respect from both sides in a completely nonpartisan way.
There was actually it was reported in the Post-Dispatch. It may be the first positive article I've had in the Post-Dispatch in my entire career, so I'll take it.
You need to turn that into some social media event where you're like reading out your policies out loud, but also doing incredibly athletic things at the same time, and maybe it'll cut through to a new base. Senator Schmidt, we're grateful to call you our own here in Missouri. Thank you for the time today. It's good to have you back.
Thanks, Annie.
Take care. Bye-bye. Senator Eric Schmidt on with us here on the Annie Frey Show, talking about a whole array of things. We'll have that interview with him up on the Annie Frey Show podcast, which you can tap into on the Odyssey app. AUDACY. Go download that app and follow the Annie Frey Show. We'd love to have you there. You can always listen to us live, but if you came in the middle of that conversation and you wanted to hear him talk about the Iran deal or talk about, the World Cup in town, kind of sort of everywhere in town, make sure you check out the Annie Frey Show podcast. We'll take a quick break. We're asking you the same question I asked him. Do you trust President Trump to get a good deal with Iran? Yes, no, or trust but verify. YouTube.com/@AnnieFrey, Frey, to vote in the live broadcast, live chat poll. We'll be right back. Air Comfort Service. You find them online at aircomfortservice.com. The number to call them directly, 314-513-0091. Reach out to Air Comfort Service and become a preferred partner with them. Let me talk to you about their preferred partner plan. You will get regularly scheduled heating and cooling system checks. Something that you're not thinking about on the regular. It's something they take care of for you. But gosh, you have them come check your entire system 2 times a year. You are going to avoid costly repairs or replacements than you would potentially run into if you're not doing the regularly scheduled maintenance. They take care of that for you. Plus, you're going to receive discounts on diagnostic calls and repairs should you incur those. Discounts on new equipment as well, and priority service. You can become a premier partner by calling 314-513-0091. Service starts at just $19 a month, and when you pay monthly, you get the 12-month free. You can find them online at aircomfortservice.com.
2026 is an election year, and 97.1 FM Talk will be your home for every twist and turn in the 2026 midterms. 97.1 FM Talk. Keep it here for radio coverage that's 25 years strong.
This is Michael McGreevy. Escape to Margaritaville night at Busch Stadium on Friday, June 26th. Celebrate the legacy of Jimmy Buffett with a special pregame performance by the Boat Drunks. With a special theme ticket, you'll receive a Margaritaville-inspired Cardinals cap. Plus, a portion of each ticket benefits Singing for Change. Kick back, relax, and enjoy a night where it's 5 o'clock somewhere, even at 7:15 first pitch. Details and tickets at cardinals.com/theme.
This is Jordan Walker. Celebrate Black Heritage Day, presented by your quality Ford dealers on Sunday, June 28th at Busch Stadium. This special culture and community event honors the impact, history, and legacy of the Black community in baseball and beyond. With a special themed ticket, you'll receive an exclusive Cardinals jersey designed by Corey Rogers. And don't miss a special heritage celebration in Budweiser Terrace before the game. Details and tickets at cardinals.com/theme.
This is the Annie Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
I've got all these clips here from The View with J.D. Vance there yesterday. Did you watch it in whole?
No, just clips. I liked it. What I saw, anyway.
I'm about to put this microphone directly into this water
I saw that.
Which is not
is she
my
gonna keep
water
talking,
cup.
or is she going to put that mic in that cup?
If that happens, that's Mark Cox's fault, because I'm pretty sure that's his water. Forget that I put it directly under the microphone.
Yeah, Annie did it, but it's Mark Cox's fault.
If Mark would have not left his water here. I yesterday left the show, and we had the Retirement Advisory Group seminar last night. That was in Chesterfield. I left the show. I drove to Sauget, Illinois, for my afternoon job. Just kidding. I drove to Sauget, Illinois, because Charlie was playing baseball there.
It's glad to hear you got a day shift.
Yeah, I know.
That's nice. Those are rare.
Less people, but better money.
Right.
I went to the baseball field because my son's baseball club will play. They don't, at 16U, they don't really participate in leagues as much anymore. It's just tournaments on the weekend. So they will do intra-club scrimmages. They're baseball games, but it doesn't really matter for anything. I love watching that. They get to play competitive baseball, and there's just less pressure. I really love it. And they play where the Grizzlies play. So it's a nice stadium.
Yeah, it's very nice.
Good concession stand.
Yeah.
So I left here, went to Sauget, and his game started at 3:45. It was perfect. And then I left Sauget to go to Chesterfield.
Ooh.
To go to the Retirement Advisory Group seminar and meet quite a few of you lovely folks at that seminar. And then I thought originally that his games were scheduled at 3:45 and 7:45, but they actually ended up being back-to-back because I was going to go back to Sauget after I was done in Chesterfield.
Yeah, do the late shift.
So I had yeah, exactly. Got to make them bills. Dollar bills. Anyway. I don't know how much of this my kids understand if they're listening right now. None of that's true. I was just watching baseball. And everybody else, too, to clarify. I thought, I'm going to listen to the full episode of The View because I was going to be in the car for a while by myself. And I really wanted to go back and watch it again just to see how he presented himself as these conversations were going down. All 6 of the View ladies were there, I think. So they all had pre-structured, okay, at this break, this person and this person's going to ask a question. They knew, and they were going to have the opportunity to basically ask maybe a question and a follow-up so that everybody could get in. I think the View screwed up they spent the first segment welcoming Joy back. She was in Europe or Romania or something.
Oh, who
She
cares?
was in some play, and they were welcoming her back, and she was talking about eating French food, and I'm like, J.D. Vance is standing off stage. What are you doing? Even if you want to troll him more.
Yeah.
Get him out of
You're
here.
trying to ruin his career.
What are you doing? But when we come back, I'm going to play some clips from this because J.D. Vance was so charming and never combative, never even defensive. He was just explanatory. I thought on the whole, they were pretty respectful to him. It didn't come off as hostile as it could have. It certainly wasn't cozy and welcoming. It was no Joe Biden or Jill Biden love snuggle fest. But I think by the time he left, I think they were like, God dang it, he was nice. Shoot. That's not what they were hoping would happen.
I agree.
Let's listen to some of those clips next.
For Sanctuary, get the peace of mind you deserve with a free estimate on a Generac home standby generator from Generator Supercenter. They're the nation's #1 Generac generator dealer. With expert installation and 24-hour monitoring, Generator Supercenter won't leave you in the dark. Financing is available. Take control of your power today with Generator Supercenter of St. Louis. Call 314-499-2020. That's 499-2020 or GeneratorSupercenterofStLouis.com. That's GeneratorSupercenterofStLouis.com.
Bringing a data center online takes more than equipment. It takes precision. Graybar helps customers predict, stage, schedule, deliver, and verify every step of the build with critical products that are available now. From networking and wireless to critical power and testing tools, our teams help you reduce downtime risk and keep projects on track. Speed, scale, ready now. Yep, Graybar does that.
HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com. If you go to HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com and look at their website, you'll be able to identify all of the different sorts of foundation repair that Matt Hayes and his team of local folks, it's a locally owned family business at Home Shield Foundation Repair. You'll be able to see the wide array of foundation repair services that they offer. This includes a service, a peering service. So, it doesn't even really have to be that old of a home. Your home's probably going to settle a little bit, and sometimes it's going to settle a little bit more than just a bit. If you need to restore the integrity of your foundation, use the peering services offered by Home Shield Foundation Repair. If you've noticed a hairline crack in the wall that's maybe grown a little bit, crack in the paint, crack in the drywall, crack in the plaster, it's time to call an expert. And that expert I encourage you to reach out to is Matt Hayes. 314-271-9900. That's 314-271-9900 for your foundation repair needs. HomeshieldFoundationRepairs.com.
We've been here 30 years, 30 Christmases in this house, and we have the traditions that most families have.
That's Terry talking about her experience with Rhino Shield ceramic coating.
We did Rhino Shield 14 years ago, and the house still looks the same as the first day. Rhino Shield really worked with me to help me get just the right nice soft yellow, and it's 14 years later, and it's the same color.
The main reason Terry called Rhino Shield is because it's backed by its 25-year transferable warranty.
It just sounded wonderful that we could have the house coated with Rhino Shield and not have to worry about it again for 25 years.
Take it from Terry. Give Rhino Shield a call now for a free evaluation. 877-25-RHINO. 877-25-RHINO. Or visit 877-25rhino.com.
There have been neighbors that have come by and said, "Did you just have your house painted?" Because they wanted to know who the contractor was. And I said, "No, it's actually Rhino Shield."
877-25rhino.com.
KFTK FM Florissant from the Kaufman Townsley St. Louis's Injury Lawyers Studio. Call 314-777-7777.
That's 314-777-7777. A signing may happen Friday. I'm Carmen Roberts, Fox News. The agreement between the U.S. and Iran is likely to be signed on Friday in Switzerland, and President Trump, who attended the G7 meeting in France, says he may stay for the signing. Fox's Jared Halpern has more on the deal.
A 60-day memorandum of understanding is intended to set the table for final talks over Iran's nuclear program, while giving Iran immediate waivers to sell oil and create a framework for $300 billion in reconstruction and economic aid. President Trump says the U.S. will not be putting up that money.
There'll be 15 to 20 years to rebuild what they have right now. So they have to behave themselves. If they're not behaving, they get hit again.
The agreement also requires Iran to allow toll-free passage through the Strait of Hormuz. In Washington, Jared Halpern, Fox News.
The Federal Reserve left interest rates unchanged today, but the new chairman, Kevin Warsh, did not offer any projections for future rate decisions. Instead, he announced that he is appointing task forces to help the Fed.
Each task force will serve an objective shared by everyone in the system, shared by everyone around that table that I sat with over the last couple of days. A Federal Reserve that is clear-eyed about its mission, fit for purpose, and focused on the future.
Meantime, other Fed officials signaled a rate hike is now more likely this year than a rate cut. And the Senate today postponed a hearing to confirm Jay Clayton as director of the National Intelligence. And that was postponed after President Trump ordered him not to appear.
Every action he takes undercuts our safety for his own ridiculous, sometimes even indiscernible political motivation.
Senate Minority Leader Chuck Schumer criticizing President Trump's move. America's listening to Fox News.
If you want unlimited talk, text, and data on a crazy fast network, Big Wireless will sell it to you right now for as little as $70 a month. Or you can buy it from Pure Talk for half of that. I'm talking about unlimited talk, text, and unlimited data for just $34.99 a month. Stop paying the big guys twice what you need to. Dial pound 250, say my name. That's pound 250 micro to switch to Pure Talk, where the savings are truly unlimited.
Please be advised, you may want to stop eating the following foods immediately. Broccoli, kale, blueberries, quinoa, spinach.
I thought those were good for me.
What's healthy for one person may cause inflammation for another. So how do you know what your body actually needs? That's where Viome comes in. Viome is a simple, at-home gut health test that analyzes your real-time biology to give you personalized nutrition guidance and custom supplements. Learn more at Viome.com/gut. V as in Victor, IOME.com/GUT. And use coupon code GUTHEALTH50 to save $50 off your purchase.
Air Comfort Service, heating, cooling, and insulation, weather.
It's a warm and humid Wednesday afternoon across St. Louis, but the big deal, wind from the south-southwest, 40 to 50 miles per hour, 93 for the high. Tonight, here comes a cool front. Scattered showers and thunderstorms kicking up the atmosphere. Some of the storms could be strong, possibly severe. Our prime time is going to be 6 p.m. to midnight tonight, 70 for the low. This is 97.1 FM Talk. Chief Meteorologist Dave Murray.
The Annie Frey Show is sponsored by Air Comfort Service Heating, Cooling, and Insulation. Air Comfort Service is hiring licensed journeymen. Don't have a journeyman license? Air Comfort Service will help you get it. Get guaranteed hours year-round and more. Apply online at aircomfortservice.com.
Annie Frey, Ryan Wiggins, Brad Ray.
That's us. That's right. Gotta love this American ride.
What do you want from me? I'm not America's sweetheart.
For the sake, kid, keep your voice down. Your father's listening to the radio.
I'm not America's sweetheart.
This is the Annie Frey Show on 97.1 FM Talk.
So J.D. Vance was, like I was starting at the beginning of the show, J.D. Vance was on everybody's show yesterday. He started at Fox and Friends the day before. He was with Sean Hannity. Then he went to The View. Then he went to The Five. And then they announced on The Five that he would be doing Gutfeld. So I bet that was something that was hopeful, but they needed to get that far into the day to know that he'd be free for it. Not to mention the fact Gutfeld is pre-taped. So usually 6 o'clock or so, probably our time, which is why it often does not air when there's live breaking news because it's probably outdated. So J.D. Vance is going from here to there and everywhere, but his view appearance is worthy of a watch, certainly a listen from front to back. I said when it was announced that he was going to go on The View, do you remember me saying he's got this book and it's called Communion, My Journey Back to Faith? That he's going to go on The View and they're going to say, how can you as a Christian? And then fill in any Trump policy after the fact.
Yeah.
They did do that.
Yes, they did.
And he was prepared for that. Are there any clips that you saw that you particularly liked? Because Brad's got a whole bunch of them here for us.
I liked the one where they were getting ready to go to commercial break, I think, so they're kind of rushing through it. But Joy Behar kept trying to get him to talk about childless cat ladies. And
Do we have that one, Brad?
He kept
It's
kind
a part of one of them, but it's not in the description.
You don't know which one it is?
No.
Well, in that one particularly, when asked about that question, he had such a smart answer to it because he said that it was a bonehead comment.
Yeah.
And I think that's the phrase that he uses in the book as well. It's cut 15. You got it right here. Hold on a second. I'm going to pull it up before I spoil the whole thing. The reason why I really, really liked his response here is because the fact that he called, I guess, liberals childish cat ladies, I want you to understand that he doesn't really backtrack the, I guess, insult that he lobbed at them, as in, like, I was wrong about what I said about him, but he basically points out that it wasn't a helpful comment. So it's basically if you don't have anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. I don't think that that's what goes for a lot of politicians. That, okay, you're just not, if it can't be nice, you can't say it.
Yeah.
But the question is, what did he benefit from saying it?
First of all, it's been well covered that I was a critic of Donald Trump back in 2015 and 2016. Now, obviously, I'm sitting here as the Vice President of the United States in the Trump administration. Well, Joy, a little humility, actually. I think that when you make predictions and those predictions turn out to be false, you got to ask yourself, well, what made me wrong about that? What did I not understand or not appreciate? For example, I said that Donald Trump's economic policies would not lead to wage growth. They did in the first term. That was actually a major, major thing. I said that we couldn't bring back any of those factory jobs because I kind of had given into this idea that those jobs were disappearing. But actually, Donald Trump, you saw a manufacturing boom during that administration. So there's a certain point. Let me just this question. So there's a certain point where you say, you know, I made predictions about this. I ended up being wrong. And in politics and anything, I think it's important to just say, you know what? I got some things wrong. and I was wrong about him.
So in that clip, he is talking about something different than the childless cat ladies. He's talking about his very documented critique of President Trump and the different things he said about him and the things that he said that he didn't like Donald Trump in large part. I don't know if it was in this clip or a different one, but he said, I believed a lot of the things that were said about him that are just patently untrue. The childless cat ladies thing, when he was asked about that, he goes, yeah, that was a boneheaded thing to say. And he basically sums up his regret for lobbying that that comment out into the world by saying he didn't move any conversation in a productive direction at all. He threw it out there, and then the story was the childless cat lady insult to a group of people. He explains that if you're going to say something like that, you need to be changing the conversation so that people are, talking about the things that you want to talk about or that you're trying to fix or that you're trying to address. And that comment did the opposite of that. It drew attention away from the issue that he was trying to address, which he goes on to explain is this unfortunate and unnatural focus away from families, away from, an affordable lifestyle in America where you can have children and have an affordable existence. When he kind of started to say this and then they're talking over him and they steer the conversation away. But he's like, if you wanted to go to the movies with your family, with your kids, it's not affordable for a lot of Americans to be able to do that. And the conversation where the childless cat lady thing came in is if you have women who don't have children and maybe they have cats instead of children, they're not thinking about the cost of 2 adult tickets and 3 tickets to go see a movie every once in a while because they don't have that as part of their daily grind. We don't have a society economically right now that favors family. That's not the way that we move through our daily lives. It's very unaffordable in many ways. We don't benefit families and families that have children. We're not encouraging people to have children. In fact, we're discouraging women actively from having children. And so the whole point of what he was trying to make with the childless cat lady thing was a pro-family, pro-kids comment. And I don't think I knew that until he explained it on The View yesterday, that that's what the childless cat lady comment was about, which is why he was saying that was a boneheaded move, because he lost the plot by throwing that insult out.
And I think the interesting thing about that clip and why it stuck with me the most is that Joy Behar thinks that she's got a really good gotcha.
Yeah.
And he is like, yeah, I said in the book even, so he references the book, he's promoting the book, that, yeah, that was a bad comment because it didn't do what I tried to accomplish with it. And then he goes into talking about humility, and he did that again in that clip you just played too. He comes back to that theme quite a bit and talks about being a Christian. And you're not going to get everything right. And he references Joy Behar. Hey, we're both Catholics, right? And he brings her into that conversation.
She's like, meh.
She didn't really want anything to do with it.
Brad, did you have a favorite? You pulled these clips. Did you watch the whole interview altogether, or did you watch the clips?
I think through watching the clips, I watched the whole interview.
Probably.
But I think that whenever he starts.
Did you have a clip that you liked?
12. When he talks about Whoopi, when Whoopi starts talking about Catholics and how you should be accepting of immigrants, I think that he has a really good answer.
That was that predicated, you say you're a Christian, how dare you, and then fill in whatever policy that they hate. They don't try to argue it on the policy's sake. They try to argue it suggesting that he's, counterintuitive to his biblical faith and understanding that's the plane they're going to get him on, which I don't understand how people who don't come from that have any standing to judge you or to ask you to judge yourself on a faith walk that they don't themselves hold.
How hard it has been for people. 2 things. You talk a lot about your Catholic faith, but the Catholic faith says we take in immigrants. We take in people who don't have or who are having a hard time. How do you justify both things?
So let me say first a couple things, Whoopi. So number one, the book is actually way less political than you might think if you were just watching this, because obviously we're getting into the issues of the day.
Right.
95% of the book is really not about politics. I kind of have to write about politics because I'm the vice president, but I want to answer your question.
Right.
So fundamentally, if you think about what is immigration enforcement, immigration is law enforcement. It's somebody who has broken a law. A law enforcement officer has to show up and enforce that law. Now, inherently, sometimes that process is not always going to be pretty if you capture a video clip of it, in the same way that if you arrest somebody for committing a violent or a nonviolent crime, sometimes it's not always pretty. What I'm saying is the Catholic faith is actually I think it strikes the right balance here. It says the Christian faith, I think this is true of Protestants and Catholics, that you can have borders.
Yeah.
You're allowed to enforce your borders. That means the law enforcement piece of it. But you also have to take certain precautions and certain care, okay? And again, your argument is fundamentally, Whoopi, you're saying that we don't strike the right balance. I disagree with you about how we apply that, but nobody hopefully is saying we're not allowed to have a border.
No,
what I'm saying is that in order for us to actually enforce the law, you can't set a standard that says you're not allowed to deport anyone unless they've committed a violent crime. You've got to enforce the law equally.
So let me do my follow-up.
You don't have to raise your hand.
Let me do my follow-up.
Yes, I do.
Because you were talking about people.
So she goes on there and is kind of following up on that particular topic. But he's saying that we're a nation of laws. And, you can't say, these are our laws, and we're going to enforce it on these people, but not those people. The laws are the laws. And I think it's such a lesson for us to learn as an observer of how J.D. Vance goes into this pit of despair. Pit of despair. Pit of despair.
We've changed the name of the view.
He goes here, which is, of course, enemy territory. There's nobody on that show that's going to fawn over J.D. Vance. Do you remember when Whoopi Goldberg was talking about Dr. Jill Biden for Surgeon General because she's a great doctor? Facts do not matter. They know what they think they know, and they're comfortable in it. I do think that they were respectful to him. I think there was a useful conversation that was had for people to observe there. But what you hear J.D. Vance say there is he explains, he restates what Whoopi's question is, which is a way to say, here's what I hear you asking me, which would give Whoopi the opportunity to say, no, and then to correct him, and so that he's answering the correct question. And then he says, and I know you and I are going to probably disagree on this, but we believe, which shows respect to the idea that somebody else would have a different thought on the matter than he does, and he's willing to politely acknowledge that we're going to disagree on that. And then he goes into, but here's something we can agree upon. That's really smart politics. It's excellent communication, and it's actually how bridges are built as opposed to cities being burned. And J.D. Vance is incredibly good at it. I think that this is exactly what Donald Trump does behind closed doors. And he's so good at it behind closed doors that he doesn't have to do it when he's performing for the camera. He always knows where the camera is. He's always concerned about the production value of whatever the thing is that he's doing. But those are the types of conversations that J.D. Vance is out there having, willing to go on The View. And he was presented with this, why are you going on The View of all places? And he said the president believes that you go everywhere, that you have all the conversations. And there's really something respectable to be said about a message that you can take anywhere. Let the message stand on its own 2 feet. Let the message stand within its own integrity. If people like it or hate it, you believe in the message and you deliver that message anywhere, then anybody will lend you an ear, because you never know what's going to happen after that. And that's something we don't see the political activists on the left doing. We don't see the people who are the leading voices from the Democrat Party giving any quarter to the idea that there are other people out there who you go in knowing these people are going to disagree with all of my points. You don't see the activist left going into the pits of despair as they would see it and having a calm, rational conversation where it's like, this is what I hear you saying to me. I know we're going to disagree on this, but can we agree on that? We would be a much better country if there was more of that. And credit to The View for inviting J.D. Vance on and being willing to have the forum to have this conversation. They could have been much worse to him, and if they were worse to him than some of the cattiness that was there, it would have been very good for J.D. Vance. So smart on their part as well. Ethan, Sports and Local next here on the Annie Frey Show. Go vote in the YouTube live chat poll. Do you trust President Trump to get a good deal with Iran? Yes, no, or trust but verify. What do you predict is going to be the leader in the final results of this poll?
I think trust but verify.
Do you think it's going to be a heavy?
No, I think it'll be ahead, though.
Well, I'll tell you right now, there are two responses to this question. Do you trust President Trump to get a good deal with Iran? Two responses that are neck and neck. So make sure you come weigh in and let your voice be heard. We'll be right back.
If you replace an old system with a new system, your bills will go down. Promise you. The so-called high efficiency stuff only works if your house is efficient. I don't care about single stage, double stage, multi-stage, variable speed, blah, 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 and SEER ratings. How long can I keep the heat inside my house? And how long do I keep the heat outside? That's efficiencies. If you want an air conditioner that will cool your house in the heat of the day, and you want a furnace that will heat your house in the coldest of days, or you need a new furnace or air conditioner, you want common sense approach, no pressures, and just the probably, I would have to say with no bias, the best company I've ever seen. Are you ready? They have one easy number, Missouri and Illinois. It is 314-293-2600, or on the internet, bartinman.com. Now that is Bart with a B, Inman with an I.
I'm John Morgan of Morgan & Morgan. My best advice to you when hiring a lawyer for your injury case is simple. If you know court personnel, ask them who they'd hire. They know. If you know an insurance adjuster, ask them. They know. And then ask them about us. Ask them about Morgan & Morgan. They know. I look forward to talking to you soon. There's only one Morgan & Morgan, America's largest injury law firm for the people.
Injured? Dial pound law.
The choice of a lawyer is an important decision and should not be based solely upon advertisements. Past results afford no guarantee of future results. Every case is different and must be judged on its own merits.
Missouri's laws are clear. Unregulated gaming devices are illegal. Companies have been telling businesses that gray market machines are legal. That's wrong. Don't be scammed. If you have these devices at your business, you could be subject to criminal and civil penalties. Unplug and remove these devices today.
If you've been approached to host illegal gaming machines, call now 800-523-1434 or visit ago.mo.gov. Sponsored by the Attorney General's Office.
Don't let tax refund worries hold you back. File now with TurboTax on Intuit Credit Karma. They'll find every credit and deduction to help you get every refund dollar you deserve or your money back. Start filing today in the Credit Karma app.
Annie Frey is St. Louis conservative. This segment of the Annie Frey Show is sponsored by All Financial.
Check it out.
Sports and Local.
Tuna Helper Hannaford.
That's me. That was one a listener came up with.
By the way, if listeners want to suggest intros for the Ethan Sports and Local segment, what's the best way that they can send them to you?
They can text them to 314-241-9797 or leave them on the live chat.
And as you can see, we have a very high bar.
Tuna Helper Hannaford.
Yeah, it was easy to remember.
I wish it should have been Hamburger Helper Hannaford.
I'm pretty sure that's one too.
That's more alliteration.
I'm almost positive that
and hamburger is
Helper
better than tuna.
Is one.
That would have been a better one. I'll have to acknowledge. I don't think that is one though.
I thought it was.
I wouldn't do two.
Can you elevate your standards just a little bit?
No.
Okay.
Not for these.
Ethan?
Thanks, Ryan.
Sports and Local.
The St. Louis area is expected to see strong to severe thunderstorms from Wednesday afternoon through the evening, mainly before midnight. Oh, sorry, forgot to put on my meteorologist hat here. Now let me
He really
continue
could be
on.
in the weather center.
Damaging winds are the most common hazard associated with the storms, the National Weather Service said. Also, Ethan Hannaford said the agency issued a wind advisory for St. Louis and much of
And
the
other
region
experts.
in effect from 1 to 8 p.m. on Wednesday, though it could carry to 8:02, 8:03. We'll have to wait and see. In addition to the risk from wind, it's also positive that the storms could produce large hail and, I quote, a few tornadoes. So the National Weather Service is saying that part. That's not Ethan Hannaford.
Scattered about.
The agency...
My home has a tornado watch right now till 10 p.m.
What does?
My home.
That
area.
one is from me.
It's also from AccuWeather, but
Oh.
I only go to you for my weather.
Got it.
You actually confused me for a second.
You're like in Mean Girls. Raise your hand if you've seen Mean Girls. You're like in Mean Girls where she's like, I have a fifth sense, and then she's standing outside while it's raining, and she's like, there's an 80% chance it's raining. No? Okay. Anyway. I'll tell you off the air how she determines the
flopped. Yikes. The agency expects that threats from severe weather will be the highest in the northern portions of the metro area north of Interstate 70. Even before the storms arrive, forecasters, including myself, said the area will see occasional gusts of 40 to 50 mile per hour winds.
Jeez.
So watch out, folks. Stay safe.
It was windy on the way here. I had to drive with the wind in consideration. Did you guys have that?
Yes. It was although it was weird because I felt it in
It
the
was
car.
super windy.
And I was looking at the wheat and the chaff blowing next to me. And it was it was not really blowing like
Were you
it
in
wasn't
Wyoming?
a lot.
Separating.
He was on assignment.
Yeah, it's separating it. It's very biblical.
The St. Louis Cardinals last night defeated the San Diego Padres by a 3-2 final score, securing a series win against the Friars. Andre Palante threw 7 strong innings. Blaze Jordan hit an RBI double. Nathan Church also added an RBI single. Palante struck out 6 while giving up 2 runs on 4 hits. Riley O'Brien got his 18th save of the season. And with the win, the Cardinals crossed the 40-win threshold, becoming the 5th team in the National League to do so this season.
Point of privilege. Requested.
Granted.
My dad told me, he goes, ask Mr. Hannaford. So
That's me.
it's either you or you need to talk to your dad.
That's Mr. Weatherman Hannaford.
The
to you.
freaking AD. Ask Ethan, what's the company line on why Walker is doing so well this year and hasn't been leading up to it? He wants to know at least what the people are saying.
The most simple way to put this, there's 2 things. One, Walker changed the people that he worked with in the offseason.
Are those Cardinal people or are those people he hires?
It's more so your own people, but then the Cardinals are overseeing it. What are they working on you with? So they have a hand in it, but they are not immediately, the ones that are doing those things.
So
Does that make sense?
Yeah, new off-season team.
Yes. So he went to Driveline, which is a very well-known, successful company, hitting company.
Could
and
they make Ryan Wiggins successful at hitting?
Well, hitting what?
I guess I should specify.
That bong. No, I'm just
Ryan,
kidding. I'm just
what
kidding.
is the matter with
This is a
you?
kid-friendly show.
No,
This is a
it
kid-friendly
was a
show.
kid-friendly show. Apologize.
Unbelievable. To Annie's children. Apologize to Annie's children.
You just said that to Molly.
Look, I will really consider that. It's something that me and my family are going to have to do privately, though.
My dad also would like you to say my family and I. Ethan?
Sports and local?
Is there any other reason? New off-season team?
Yes, the other reason would be, and this isn't just for Jordan Walker, this is collectively the revamp of the development in which the Cardinals organization has gone through these past couple of years since Chaim Bloom took it over in 2024. It's not just Jordan Walker that has seen a career arc just completely change. There's other guys too, and it goes into my next story perfectly. And did you guys hear about the Cardinals prospect last night that had the crazy game in Memphis? Did you hear about this? Anyone?
No.
Joshua Baez set a franchise record, hitting 4 home runs last night for the Memphis Redbirds.
What'd you do last night, Ryan?
I stayed
Hit
at
a bong,
Holiday Inn
apparently.
Express.
Hit a bong in a Holiday Inn Express.
Both dubs.
Yeah.
There
They
you
wouldn't
go.
allow my dog in, though.
Oh, no.
I know.
Were you
Yeah.
upset?
Yeah.
Oh, I'm
Okay.
sorry.
Okay.
I'm sorry to hear that. Josh Baez, gosh. Okay.
What position does he play?
Josh Baez is an outfielder. He is the Cardinals' third-ranked prospect. This is a guy the Cardinals drafted in 2021, and first 2 seasons in the minors, absolute bust. I mean, he was a second-round pick. This is a very highly regarded guy when they selected him, and 2 years into his minor league career, everyone had pretty much written him off. Chaim Bloom comes in a couple of years ago. They begin doing some work. It actually may have been a little bit before Chaim Bloom, but they start doing some work with him. They take him off of the baseball field. They basically put him in class, and they say, we're going to completely fix up your swing. We're going to make a lot of tweaks, and he has completely undergone this entire change to the trajectory of his professional career. This is a guy that you are going to see up with the Cardinals at some point this season. He's a highly regarded prospect. He's a top 100 prospect in baseball. A lot of the different rankings have him in the top 50. And he is now hit, I believe, 24 home runs, which leads AAA in the minors this season. So Joshua Baez, I know this is maybe getting a little bit more into the weeds. The main reason that I wanted to bring it up is because he hit the 4 home runs last night, but then it goes perfectly into what you just asked, Danny, that it's not just Jordan Walker that is undergoing these massive changes because of things that the Cardinals development system is implementing. Another guy, Josh Baez, who's probably going to be a really good ball player for them eventually, is also had a complete change in his
There you go,
career
Dad.
arc.
Also, I would
If
like
you don't
to.
like that answer, I'll talk to Ethan's dad and see what he thinks.
I was going to let your dad know that's also because of the tornado bats.
They don't use them.
It's a torpedo.
Torpedo bat.
Oh, by the way,
That was the thing for that was a notable thing for 3 weeks last year. And then everyone stopped talking about it.
Didn't Aaron Judge stick with it though?
Yeah, a lot of people use them,
Yeah.
but it wasn't a new thing.
They just look weird.
They do look weird.
One more story.
Yeah, we'll go from that to this one's fun. A St. Louis man will be appearing in court today for public indecency after appearing nude at Art
Ryan?
Hill in Forest Park.
Where were you? When?
When was it?
When was it?
This
You need a
was
proper alibi.
this was on Monday
Mm.
in Forest Park. If there was a place to be nude in Forest Park, wouldn't Art Hill be the place?
Yeah, rolling down that hill.
Expression.
It's going, la 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 wee.
What?
The incident occurred on
And then you just stand up and you say it's art. This is art.
Monday, according to a probable cause statement from the St. Louis Metropolitan Police Department. It is unclear if where specifically in that area it was. A witness called 911 to report seeing a nude man laying on a bench. This individual told police that the man was performing certain acts on himself and then rubbing his buttocks against a large pole.
He's on drugs.
What? No.
I don't feel bad about that guy getting arrested at all.
No, he needs help.
I do feel bad, though, when you arrest a naked guy who was skipping or frolicking, just enjoying.
Is that what you tell your children?
Existence. I told my kids, if you ever get arrested naked, you better have been skipping.
All right, stick around. We'll be right back. More on the Annie Frey Show. When we come back, we're going to talk a little bit about the Major League Baseball reaction to those Bible verses on the hats of the San Francisco Giants, and a few more clips from World Cup fans that are absorbing the United States. We'll be right back.
The ACA Market Plan has just announced significant increases on their monthly premiums for 2026, with deductibles over $10,000. You can enroll with Greg Hammond's Freedom of Choice plans now. You don't have to wait. One of their plans lets you use any doctor, has zero outpatient deductibles, and it's 30 to 60% lower than most Obamacare plans. Other options are full coverage PPOs with national networks, copays, and 100% annual preventative care. Also, there's no income disclosure required, so no potential tax penalties. If you pay for your own health insurance, you're uninsured, you're on COBRA, or your employer coverage is just too expensive, Call Greg, and they'll provide all available options. Call 314-794-7784. That's 314-794-7784. Or go to greghammonds.com. That's greghammonds.com. He can custom design a plan managed and chosen by you, not the government.
For years, Gone South has been a podcast about crime in the American South. But for our new season, we're widening the lens. Through deeply reported, narrative-driven stories, we're digging into the myths, scandals, and power structures that still shape the South, and, in a lot of ways, the country itself. Follow and listen to Gone South Season 5, an Odyssey podcast. Available now on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you get your shows.
Hi, I'm Bob Kershaw with Retirement Advisory Group.
Hi, I'm Tammy Kershaw. When we meet our clients for the first time, they have built up a lifetime of savings. Their question is, what can we do with this money so we can live comfortably the rest of our lives? First, we develop a strategy to protect your nest egg from any market losses. Then, we build your own personalized structured income plan that will generate you an income the rest of your life. We put you in control of your money.
You've earned it, and it's our job to make sure you enjoy it. Let our team show you how you can have the retirement of your dreams. Call us now at 314-993-9494 for a no-cost, no-obligation retirement review. You will also get a copy of our latest edition book, Your Key to a Worry-Free Retirement. We've been helping retirees and pre-retirees retire with confidence for 40 years. Call us now at 314-993-9494 or go online at retirementkey.com. That's retirementkey.com.
Hi, Sandy. What's that?
I'm reading up on this Amendment 4 on the August ballot.
What's 4?
Amendment 4 absurdly creates a new un-American minority veto power, but only for ballot issues that we citizens put on the ballot.
Don't they say it'll protect conservative ideas?
Truth gets in the way of their story. Amendment 4 would mean as few as 5% of the most liberal statewide voters in one congressional district could veto any good conservative idea or reform, even when a big majority supports it.
That does sound un-American. How did that get on the ballot?
The politicians put it there, and it would empower a small minority of liberals. They could stop funding for police, stop tax cuts, or any other common sense conservative policy we support.
Only 5%? One district? That would make it nearly impossible to pass needed reforms or rein in politicians.
Yep, Amendment 4 is a misguided power grab by politicians. I'm voting no on Amendment 4.
Right. I'm not giving up my constitutional rights. It's a hard no on 4.
Paid for by Missourians for Fair Governance.
We've been talking about it all day and asking you to chime in, which you have. The question of the day on the YouTube live chat is, do you trust President Trump to get a good deal with Iran? Now, let me encourage you, if you listen to the show and you've never voted in the poll, go to the live stream. You just go to YouTube, type in Annie Frey Show. You'll see it pop right up there. It's live. We're talking to you right now. You can see us there, and that's where you vote. The three options are yes, trust but verify, or no. Those three, Annie said 2 of them are neck and neck, so you could be the deciding vote if you want to weigh in. Do you trust President Trump to get a good deal with Iran? It's 2:36. This time check is sponsored by Jerry Kelly Heating, Air Conditioning, Electrical, and Plumbing.
It's time for a $98 AC tune-up.
From Fenton to Fairview, 97.1 FM Talk, St. Louis Conservative.
A lot of the hate comes from perceived negativity, and without getting too off track, but like the Pride Night stuff with the Giants, like I think that there's a perceived negativity with this stuff of like, okay, Landon Routt wrote a verse on his hat, that means that he's anti-something. That doesn't mean that, right? It means that he's pro-something, right? So the rainbow means something to him. It means that he believes in the Noahic covenant being something that's special to us as Christians, right? That means that no matter how bad we possibly could be, no matter how much we reject God, that he will never again flood the earth. That's really cool. That's really special. And we do a lot of stuff, and we're all sinful. We all do a lot of stuff that may be worthy of a flooding, but God will never flood us, and because of that promise, and his promises are unconditional. So that's something that's really cool to me, is that there's nothing negative, there's nothing anti, there's nothing that says that he doesn't support anything or that he's like hateful or anything like that at all. It's all positive. It's all like, man, this is what the rainbow means to me. And I just thought that was really cool that he did that.
What a press conference, a press question and answer there from Diamondbacks pitcher Ryan Thompson. Also, he said Noahic.
He said Noahic?
Noahic, Noahic, of Noah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. I saw it because I read the script before when I sent this clip to Brad to pull, and I was like, well, that is a word, and I don't. You know that you're listening to somebody who is prone to ministry and positive speak when they end a lot of things with this up talk, right?
Right?
Oh.
You guys ready to unpack this?
Yeah. Yes. I'll take that any day other than some goofy back and forth in a locker room or whatever. Just listening to him put a really positive spin on what the Giants pitchers did and say, this is what the rainbow means to us, and we're here to celebrate that.
That guy is going to be a broadcaster someday or a minister.
Televangelist.
Combine
the two.
One of the two, because he was very well spoken.
There are a lot of people getting involved in this ordeal here with what these pitchers and San Francisco Giants pitchers wrote the Genesis verse on their hat. Just the passage where it comes from. They didn't write the actual scripture on their hat. That would have been a lot of writing. But across the country now, there are a lot of different parties that are getting involved in what happens next.
J.T. Brubaker and Ryan Walker was seen with the biblical verse, Genesis 9:12-16, written on their rainbow pride caps, which says the rainbow is a symbol of a covenant between God and all living creatures.
They defaced the pride rainbow with a Bible verse telling the LGBT community that they do not own the rainbow, that God owns the rainbow.
Pause. This is the founder of Outsports. And this man just said that the pitcher defaced the rainbow, saying that the community doesn't own the rainbow. He said that God owns the rainbow. Just one more time.
All living creatures.
They defaced the pride rainbow with a Bible verse telling the LGBT community that they do not own the rainbow, that God owns the rainbow.
Sid Ziegler, co-founder of Outsports, calls the Pride Night display disgraceful.
If I were a Giants fan, I would never attend a game again.
In a statement, the Giants organization telling ABC7 Eyewitness News, the San Francisco Giants are proud to support Pride Night and the LGBTQ plus community. We also respect that individuals may make personal choices about participating in team activations. We understand that the choices by individual players has caused pain and anger to many in the LGBTQ plus community, and we're sorry for that.
Can I interject here, San Francisco Giants? You said we understand that the choices by individual players has caused pain. He wrote Genesis. This pitcher wrote Genesis on his hat, and people are in pain?
Yeah. Well, if anybody ever tells you something that you don't like hearing, that means that they need to apologize to you.
No, that doesn't. Nuh-uh. No. Nobody gives a crap about my pain if I'm a Christian. It doesn't go both ways.
You don't count, though. I don't think you understand.
I do count because I'm a woman. You don't count.
I don't count. I have a disease. Maybe I could be in a category because I have CF.
Sorry, Brad.
Yeah, I'm out of luck.
Yeah. Sit there and think about
I
what
will be
you've done.
blamed for everything.
Those choices do not change our organization's commitment to inclusion, belonging, and creating a welcoming environment for all. For Ziegler, the statement falls short.
For the Giants to take no responsibility and essentially stand by their players is gross.
You gonna cry? There's no crying. There's no crying in baseball. What's your problem? Toughen up. You're in pain. You're not in pain.
This is the pain that the Giants were talking about. And also they did apologize. I don't know what he's talking about.
They're not in pain. This isn't pain. You have rights. You can marry whomever you want to marry. You're considered equal. We don't have to capitulate. We don't have to say how high when pointed at and told to jump. We don't have to do that. And you don't have to like it. You can, in fact, hate it. But because you feel emotional pain, that doesn't mean that other people, like these pitchers for the San Francisco Giant, have to reconfigure their understanding of Scripture and their biblical faith because you're in pain. You're not in pain. Stop crying. This is baseball.
It seems to me like the person speaking there from Outsports or whatever that is, he's saying that the gay community does own the rainbow. And he has a problem with just that hat, not Skittles.
It's disheartening. SF Pride Executive Director Suzanne Ford had this to say.
I work for San Francisco Pride, and I think if I espouse beliefs that weren't inclusive, my board of directors would have a problem with that. And I think the same thing goes with these Giants players. They work for the San Francisco Giants.
Landon Roop told the Mercury News he meant no hate at all. It's what he stands for as a believer in God. Major League Baseball is now involved, issuing a warning to the players. In a statement to Outsports, a spokesperson says the writing on the cap violates our rules, and consistent with normal practice, we have warned the players about future violations. Pitcher Sam Hentges opted not to wear a pride cap at all, wearing a regular cap instead. The LGBTQ community says more to come on this incident.
Ooh.
Look out. Look out.
I know a lot. I know my equivalent of I have gay friends.
Oh, okay.
I do. They're embarrassed by this.
They're embarrassed by something going on in San Francisco?
I wouldn't limit to just one thing. This is dumb. It's not forced virtue in this regard. It doesn't have a place in baseball. I am for if a it is San Francisco. Is there I say this out of respect. Is there a gayer place for baseball, San Francisco? I mean, that's kind of like that's the destination.
Yeah.
Is that still the case?
Well, as far as I know.
Okay. You want to take it any further than that?
No, not really.
Okay.
Fine.
We'll talk off air.
No.
When you have San Francisco and maybe they have a higher population of community there that is LGBTQ, then maybe you want to bring that in and celebrate it. I mean, maybe in a place where, I feel like Boeing does a lot of partnerships with the Cardinals. Maybe you have a few extra military things in St. Louis or whatever it might be. I said this yesterday, and I'll say it again, and I'm going to say it again and again and again. If you are going to implement these types of things to a uniform, it does seem to me like the players would have to be in uniform. But if you're going to force this type of virtue signaling onto another person's body, they didn't sign up to play baseball with the San Francisco Giants to sign up for the causes that the San Francisco Giants want to support. They sign up to wear the San Francisco Giants uniform and win baseball games for them. Now, I can hear in my mind the pushback coming from the left or the super pro LGBT community like Mr. Outsports there, who's suffering right now in pain because of a Bible verse that was written on a hat. Wham! If you say, okay, well, we do things to honor veterans, we do things to honor the country, we have players wearing red, white, and blue stripes on the STL or the SF in San Francisco or whatever. Isn't that forcing things? No, those people don't have to wear those hats either. Just wear the uniform that you signed a contract to play for that team. You don't want to support veterans? Please, please, please. The sooner I know that, the better about a player. Same thing with this pride hat. If you want to know, as somebody who's in the LGBT community, that Ralph, pitcher for the San Francisco Giants, is uncomfortable wearing that pride hat, you get to judge him for that. It's unfortunate that the San Francisco Giants organization wants to put their players in a position where they essentially have to take a stand against the norm. What you're establishing is the norm, that you are now asking your fans that are going to pay ridiculous prices to come to your games and $8 hot dogs and $20 beers. You're now like, oh, but also we want you to judge the biblical understanding of our pitchers. Seems like a dumb business decision to me. But go for it. You want to do that? But don't make him wear it. And if he doesn't wear it, Or if he doesn't wear it, he's going to have to bear the brunt of that for people who are going to look at him and judge him the way I would judge somebody for not wearing an army hat or whatever it is that you were celebrating at that given time. You're putting him in the position to be judged for it. Stupid decision, especially on something uniform, which should mean they're all the same. Stupid decision. But stop using baseball to virtue signal things that have nothing to do with baseball. Come as you are to the baseball game. Support we'll all stand up and cheer and high five when our favorite person hits a home run, when our team hits a home run. We will hug each other in the playoffs. We will high five. We will share beverages with each other in celebration. And I will never ask somebody who they sleep with. I do not care. Whatever you want to do, do it. I'm here because we are all together Cardinals fans. Let's celebrate. Stop inserting division into something that divides people when your biggest asset as a Major League Baseball team is a unified group of people from all different walks of life that are just like, go Giants. It's a stupid business decision. And I hope and pray that we are at a place now where people start to understand that.
What you're saying is the most obvious way that they should go about. Everybody would agree that's the best way to do this with any messaging. And yet they're not doing it because
they're dumb.
They're dumb. And the Giants are in legally dubious territory now, too, because when you talk about compelled speech, you start treading on people's individual religious rights or free speech rights. Now, the government can't do it clearly, but when you talk about private companies, then it gets kind of murky. And so there could be lawsuits here if somebody wanted to. There probably won't be.
Well, the Attorney General from the state of Florida is looking into Major League Baseball's compelled speech problems.
I did not know that.
Yes, and Catherine Hanaway in Missouri is looking into it as well.
Wow.
So stay tuned. When we come back, one more story about Pride in June and another huge company that's maybe made a quiet decision to pull back on it a little bit. And wait till you hear what they've replaced some of that attention, what they've replaced it with. We'll be right back. Stewart's American Mortgage and the Bagel Loan. You know him as the Bagel Loan guy. Stewie is ready to take your phone call for a new home purchase. If you're looking for a 30-year loan on a new home purchase, the smartest call or text that you can make right now is to Stewie. 314-324-4440. 314-324-4440 is the number. Now, here's why it's so smart right now and for a limited time. Stewart's American Mortgage is offering you an incredible opportunity to lock in a 1% lower rate on the first year of that new 30-year loan. So it's a great saving right out the gate. Also, in conjunction with the Bagel Loan, which comes with no dollars in closing costs. The upfront savings that you're going to experience doing business with Stewie are incredible. Reach out to him directly at 314-324-4440. Google the Bagel Loan, NMLS number 226715. Now, I was just talking about the San Francisco Giants and the controversy that is existing there, and that story is far from over. Even J.D. Vance retweeted this story. Did you see that, Ryan? J.D. Vance retweeted Major League Baseball saying, we're going to find the next people who do this. This is not fair. He retweeted, we won. We don't have to do this anymore. The Vice President of the United States.
Wait, explain.
Major League Baseball said that they were going to find the next people, that defacing your uniform is not allowed, and that there would be repercussions for people who followed up and did the same thing. And J.D. Vance, the Vice President of the United States, retweeted the story of Major League Baseball saying that they were going to stop people from doing more of this kind of, I guess you would call it anti-pride stuff. He retweeted it, and he said, we won. We don't have to do this anymore.
As in 2024?
As in, yeah. This is not Biden's America anymore.
Ah, okay.
Which is fantastic, and it's true. Therefore, the Attorney General from the state of Florida is looking into it from a legal standpoint. Catherine Hanaway of Missouri is looking into it as well. What happens next? No idea. But going back to Florida, as you know, we're a Disney World family. I do like Disney. I wish Disney would get their act together and get back to the Walt Disney company the way Walt had intended it. But it's June, and I'm in a lot of Facebook groups for Disney World type of stuff. And there are multiple posts that keep popping up from people, and they're questioning the lack of Pride merch available at Disney World this year. And then people will comment like, oh, no, it's there. You just have to look for it. And then they show all the different things that Disney has put out. It's essentially like a Mickey face with the rainbow on it, whatever.
Right.
But tons of other comments say if you're looking for the Pride merch, check out the outlet stores, that Disney has apparently significantly over-ordered this merchandise in the past, and it ends up in the outlet stores because they don't actually end up selling all of it. So they've ordered lower amounts of it this year, potentially. And there are lots of opportunities to buy it. There's certainly a lot of ways that you could still get that type of merchandise at Disney World. So it's not that they're not doing it. They said, but the America 250 merchandise that Disney World has put out is not staying on the shelf. They can't stock it fast enough. There's a Sam Eagle popcorn bucket. Now, if you know anything about the Muppets, I'm not a Muppet person. I've learned about the Muppets being at Disney World. But Sam Eagle's phrase, which is my favorite catchphrase ever, is a salute to all nations, but mostly America. You can get a Sam Eagle popcorn bucket. So you can put popcorn. Like, how America is that? You eat your popcorn out of a Sam Eagle head. And he's standing at a podium wearing his Americana hat and so on and so forth. But they've got all sorts of red, white, and blue USA Mickey Americana stuff, and it is flying off the shelves.
Huh.
And I just thought that is an interesting, outside of the news cycle, tidbit of factual information. I'm going to continue to monitor that. I'm going to get me a Sam Eagle popcorn bucket. Do you trust President Trump to get a good deal with Iran? Brad, yes, no, or trust but verify?
I am a yes.
Ryan?
I'm always trust but verify.
I'm a yes, too. I think he can do it. I think he's got clear eyes about it. And I would honestly say that I trust him. We've got 187 votes on the poll today. No came back with 11%. Yes came back with 43%, and trust but verify in at 46%. So on the whole, it looks like you're not feeling super terrible about it, but keep it right here on 97.1 as the story continues to develop. The Mark Reardon Show next.
Time now for today's Spotlight on Money, sponsored by LendSeek.
Your work ethic will give you a leg up in your job search, especially if you're just starting out. Recruiter Jason Wachtel says companies are looking for resumes of people who look like they go the extra mile.
Internships or externships one has, or even sports.
Without real-world experience, sports activities and internships tell a story.
Key indicators of one's ability to put in the extra time.
I'm Rob Hart.
If you own a small business, the pressure never lets up. Something's always coming at you. That's why business owners turn to LendSeek for funding.
I don't need promises. I need options. LendSeek's AI platform showed me real funding choices. Now I can cover payroll, handle taxes, and go after growth opportunities without the daily stress.
Up to $5 million with funding in as fast as 24 hours. No upfront costs. No prepayment penalties. Start ready, stay ready.